Yeah.
I'm gonna go with The Ring tonight. Okay, we're live, but I just gotta push the link out, which I just missed because I was not paying attention. Let's get it here. I didn't love this movie. The pacing kind of sucks.
I was fine with it. I thought I had fun, but I wasn't blown away by it either.
I think my favorite thing is just how well they nailed the '90s just look, like that '90s
Yeah.
film like look, and all that period piece stuff. I thought was really good.
See,
Ooh, this I
since we're
want to
not
see.
live yet, I thought it was interesting because it wasn't.
Well, wait a second. We are live. Anybody clicks on the YouTube VOD,
Uh
and
huh.
they will see this. So just take that in.
No,
You can say whatever you
no,
want. I'm
it's
just
not.
letting you know.
It's not a bad thing. It's definitely like a black-based movie, but to see that they're not doing it and it's not based around standard racism and more like the cultural strife that they go on in
Yeah,
their own, I
totally. It's
thought
about
that was
like,
really cool.
yeah, I agree. It's about like cultural and societal pressures to be something different and to deny like the natural way you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree with that. That's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a hard one
there's
to bring up.
way more. That's a really great point though. There's way more nuance to it than something like what the hell Antebellum, which like wouldn't
Yeah.
understand nuance if it punched it in the face. You know.
Yep.
Let's see.
Man, Animaniacs comes back Friday. I'm so excited.
Okay. You know, that was kind of like after my time. Like I feel like that's more Mark's time. I'm
Oh
surprised
yeah.
you're into it.
We watched a lot in my
Oh
senior year of high
fuck.
school and just after.
You don't have access to the. Oh, do I have access to the BGH Gmail? I don't even know. That's a good question. I just tried to log in from a new device and it's fucking. Oh, I do. Cool. I don't even use this. It's mostly Joe and John.
Yeah.
I don't get the keys. And of course, John's all responsible, so he uses a password manager. So anytime I got to be like, "Can I have the password?" He's like, "Here's fucking 45 letters." It's like, "Cool, dude. I get it. Okay."
I should be like that, but I'm not. Just because of my job.
I want to, but there's so much influx in my life right now. I'm kind of waiting for things to chill. But it's on my list of life things that really needs to get done.
I like to claim the stupid excuse of, everybody knows I'm a security professional in cybersecurity, so they expect that stuff to be in place. So if I'm not doing that stuff, right, they don't expect it.
You know what I did do? I started changing my passwords though. I guess I shouldn't say this on the internet, huh? But like to like
Yeah.
elaborate sentences that are just random weird thoughts in my head that I guarantee you no one else ever has. So
Yeah.
like they're not random, but they're random in a way that no one could ever you could never fucking guess, and they're always really long.
I like to
And then it's just
combine
like you got to get a
like
number in there somewhere.
I like to combine a couple random words, especially when I'm doing it at home. Like, and if Colin's getting my phone or use my laptop or
I've
something,
noticed that
it is
that's
pink
what
flamingo.
I've noticed that that's what like Wi-Fi routers are now. It's always like a couple of random words.
Yeah. We have an outsourced service desk, and we make them use DinoPass, which is a children's password generator online to generate passwords for agents.
All right, we're live. We're officially live now. Everyone has a link. Okay, I need to get fan mail if we have any. I haven't heard anything from Sophie, so like She didn't respond to the email, right?
No,
Oh,
I
she did.
think she replied to one in there, one or two.
I haven't been in the thread because I hadn't finished until just now. I mean, I don't see her on this thread. Oh no, there she is. Oh, she says she'll be on right around 8.
Pretty excited to watch that New Mutants.
Yeah.
Just because it's an X-Men horror movie.
No, dude, totally. And I like the cast looked cool. Looked like a cool it looked like a cool tone to it. I'm into it.
Yeah.
I got that. I swear I got that trailer in the before time a few times at the theater.
I did too.
The before times.
And I just saw today they're going to release the new Wonder Woman on Christmas on HBO Max. So they're going to skip the theater with that too.
Yeah. No idea. I just posted that in Slack. I'm pumped. I loved that first movie.
Oh yeah, I love the freaking design they've done with the poster and stuff.
Yes, and I love all the 80s stuff in there for the new stuff. It looks pretty sick. It's the only one of those fucking DC movies that's watchable, honestly. Although I haven't seen, I really wanted to see like the Harley Quinn stuff. Like I wanted to see that sequel they made.
That second one was really good, and I'm excited for the new Suicide Squad because that was directed by the dude that did Guardians of the Galaxy. For that short period that Marvel fired him.
Oh, okay. So not James Gunn, like the guy who was going to replace him.
No, James Gunn directed the Suicide Squad.
Oh, I know.
The sequel to Suicide Squad.
I know who James Gunn is, bro.
No, I know. I just assumed you knew he was the guy that did Guardians of the Galaxy.
All you had to say was all you had to say was co-writer of Citizen Toxie, James Gunn.
Yeah. I forgot. It's funny because I was explaining to somebody on work on Teams the other day in a chat that James Gunn in his Toxie background.
We use Teams. It's so obnoxious. Well, no, it's fine. I guess I don't mind it. I have weird organizational things with it. Like when I say that, I mean like my company where I get booted from it a lot, and then it won't just let me log in. I got to hard quit the whole thing and open it back up and. But I think that might be more the way it's connected to my corporate shit than the actual program.
We just rolled it out right as the pandemic was starting, so we got lucky there. But it's been pretty nice.
And I refuse to put it. I refuse to put it on my phone because I will not give my company access to my phone.
Yeah,
I'm that guy.
You're the guy that thought I was reading your.
I'm sure you like me. You know what? Here's the thing. I know they're not. But it's twofold. There is, like, to me, just a privacy principle thing, even though I know that's not like what's happening. To me, though, it's more about like life balance and companies just injecting themselves more and more into your every fucking waking life. Like I already have a job. Yeah. I already have a job that could call me into action at any fucking time almost. And especially in quarantine, the only time I'm not around a computer, the only time if I just have email on my computer, the only time I'm not around it is if I'm like driving or shopping. And if that's what's happening, you can fucking handle whatever it is or call me on my cell phone. And like, if you need some technical thing from me, I'll do it when I get home. Like, you gotta, I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here. You have a job where you're fucking like on call all the time, right? Like,
yeah,
you gotta find a way to push back or the companies will never fucking stop pushing into your daily life. And I'm finally at the point where like, I'm confident enough in what I do and feel strongly enough about those things that I'm comfortable pushing back. Like, I'm good. Yeah. Like, if you need me, call me. And if I can help, I will.
I totally get that. And I do the same. I've got that stuff installed on my phone, but I turn all the notifications off. So I never see them. So unless it's a high priority, because I know my boss will text me if something blows up.
Yeah. And I sat in once. My boss was out of town. And I sat in on a manager's meeting. And one of the other managers was like ripping on people who wouldn't do that, and like just it was like they didn't know it was there. I mean, although I don't think it's even that many people who haven't done it. It's probably a short list, is my guess.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot. There's always some. My only thing was that always killed me when we were rolling that stuff out at work with the cell phones. It's the people would see the warnings pop up and they're like, "You're trying to read my pictures. I'm not going to install your app." And I'm like, "I don't care if you're going to install the app or not. If you want your email, install it. If you don't,
right.
go on with your day. I don't give a shit." I am not doing this for my personal fulfillment.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like, I understand it has literally nothing to do with the IT guy, and I think some people can't separate it.
Some people can't separate that.
I totally get that.
They got a season Yammer now at work, which is like a corporate Facebook, and everybody's like, "It's just
Yammer?
One more thing we got to check."
Sick, dude.
Yeah,
Yammer,
it's Microsoft's version.
Yammer. Yammer. Yeah, here they call that Yammer.
Although they did roll out the plugin this week that ties Yammer into Teams, which is going to make it highly more likely that I'll pay attention to it because you can just pull it up and like you're reading a chat stream. If I have to go to another browser tab, you pretty much lost me.
I have a coworker who will constantly, like, we're all on Teams. It's on my second monitor all day. It's right there. He will constantly text me if he needs something. And I'm like, and I like him. I'm like, dude, I like you. Please stop fucking texting me. Like, because I have legit, like, problems concentrating.
Yeah.
And if you bring my attention off of the computer, like, I cannot promise what's going to happen when I try to get back to doing whatever I was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we only do that if you're texting something like a bad joke meme or something.
I just think he forgets. He just doesn't realize. I just started a hangout for this.
We do we've got a little group chat set up with those of us at work that always joked around in the office and stuff across a couple teams, so we can keep that going. That's kind of nice. But then people just pay attention to it when they want to, so it's pretty awesome.
I'm going to take you out of my ears for a second. You like my shirt?
Ooh, I do.
This is from $6shirts.com. It was $6. It's awesome.
Very nice.
And I bought a bunch of their blanks for $3. They fit like a dream.
Nice.
Yeah, I decided to like just get more t-shirts because it's all I fucking wear in quarantine. It's like all of it. My decision every day is like, am I wearing sweatpants today, or am I going to put pants on and try to pretend like I'm a human being?
I've been shopping all over the place trying to find locally, like when I go to the grocery store, I put up my mask on, run in real quick at like Walmart to see, because I used to get them there as cargo sweatpants because they're thicker, and I'm like, I just want those so I can work in those all day long. That's really all I care about because I'm not wearing jeans.
I started out like fully dressing in quarantine for work, and then once summer hit, I was just in like gym shorts and a shirt all day, and then I've kind of come back around. I mean, it's colder too, but I was just feeling like I need to feel a little more like a human being, so I'm putting just at least jeans on or something. Kind of helps.
Yeah, I tried it. It didn't sit well with me. I've been in shorts and barefoot since March, so I've been the type that's saying for years though that I wish they wouldn't make us wear business casual to work and let us work in shorts and t-shirt too. So I'm taking advantage of it.
Dude, it's bullshit that I have to dress. Like, I'm the only creative department in the country where they make you dress up. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't work well that way. I need to be free, Casey.
Exactly.
This is how I work well in stuff like this.
I'm freaking IT. You're freaking IT guy. If the customers are seeing me, you got big problems.
Right. All right, I don't see Schnarzer Joe. It looked like Sophie was on, but now she's not answering. She had that weird thing, though, where she has two different...
Yeah, I don't know which one's which.
Now I'm wondering if this is a different one. Right, I see two now. Let me ask her. We haven't had Sophie on forever.
I know. Let's see. Now she's all official and stuff. She posted that on Slack, didn't she?
Official what?
The ring.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So now she's all engaged and
That's
stuff.
right.
So we got a dish.
That's a good point, Casey. Thank you for reminding me of that. You're really my brain tonight, buddy. I appreciate it.
Glad I could help. So I got into this Raid Shadow Legions or whatever game that they advertise everywhere. It's bad, man.
Is it like a mobile game?
Yes.
Like a click, like, get addicted kind of mobile game?
Yes.
Watching the numbers go up?
Exactly. I'm unlocking monsters, unlocking new monsters, and leveling them up to unlock more monsters, and that's all it is.
The last one I got into like that was that Star Wars game, pretty hardcore. The one where you like collect. It's like an RPG battle system, basically. I would have played that game forever, but they ramped up the difficult. Like I played it a lot, like so much, and then I hit that difficulty wall where you basically can't advance unless you start spending money, and I was like,
yeah,
they fucked up though. If they had trickled out just enough, like I would have spent small amounts of money forever, but they made it so hard. I'm like, this is bullshit, dude.
I paid $3 to raid so far, and that's it. And that was only once. And I've been going on it free. I get my fix out of it.
Yeah, that's great, man. I mean, there's always a good amount of like fun to be had in those free games. Like,
yeah.
Now I must have played hundreds of hours of Fortnite. However, I did spend money in it, even though I didn't have to, because I'm a sucker for like cool cosmetic stuff.
Speaking of those free ones, though, I tell you what's taken over our house is the new Mario Kart Tour on mobile. Because you can set up multiplayer.
Oh, I didn't even know it existed. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So me and Delaney, your boyfriend, were playing just earlier.
Do you do this?
You can set it that way.
Awesome.
But you just slide with your left thumb, and then you can do it in landscape mode. And you just slide your left thumb, and then you hit tap with your right for shooting.
You ever seen those huge arcade machines they have, like Dave and Buster's of that, where you sit in like a seat? So fucking cool.
Yeah.
And you smash a big button to like shell someone.
But the Mario Kart too, because you can get quite a bit for free out of it too, and you're going around, you're running races, so you're getting Mario Kart races, and it feels quite a bit like Mario Kart, and you get to unlock, Nintendo characters and vehicles and shit. So you got to make the numbers go up.
Wait, why can't I hear this?
I don't hear it either.
No, that's bad. Oh,
there it is.
Okay. It was the program needed to be booted. Okay, stop, bro. Just sit. Drive me fucking crazy. He has allergies and he basically just coughs. I've said this on the show before. He fucking coughs constantly.
Aggie got to go to the beauty salon.
What'd you say?
So it's been.
I
said our dog Aggie got to go to the beauty salon.
He needs a bath. I can do it myself. I just haven't done it yet. Maybe I'll do it. I don't know, this weekend or something. He does smell like shit. He's just a nervous dog, so he licks all the time. It's the worst goddamn smell on earth.
Yeah.
Just sitting licking his fucking hands and his balls all day. All right. Everybody says they're here, so let's try to add them in. It hasn't been working.
All right. Let's see. There's Sean.
What's up, Schnaps?
What is up?
Oof. My computer is real angry.
Hey, Joe.
Hey.
What's up, bro?
Can you guys
Just waiting to get Sophie connected. I'm pretty ready though. I don't even have to pee. Well, maybe I should pee. Hey, Sophie.
Hey guys, sorry, I'm on my iPad. My computer connect for.
So what's going on? It's just not ringing.
Going on? It's just not.
Oh,
Oh Jesus.
Can you guys hear me okay, or does it sound like trash?
I'm getting feedback when I talk.
Well, now it sounds okay.
Now it
Now it's
sounds
okay.
okay.
That time.
What? So tell me what's happening.
Me in Kansas City.
Tell me what's happening with your
We're gonna
computer
need, like, a more
specifically,
complete-
so I can try to walk you through it.
Okay, I didn't know if you were just like trying to get me to talk randomly to hear my levels, or if you wanted to know what's going on. So
Nope.
my laptop, which is what it says it's on Skype, I tried to send you a message when I got on like 5 minutes ago. It still hasn't sent. And whenever you call me, it doesn't come through on my computer, only my iPad and my phone.
Okay, question. Is the internet otherwise fine on your laptop? Can you like get to a thing? Okay.
That's a no. I think that's a no.
So I'm gonna text her because I think the
Okay.
best. Hey, okay, this is the best thing. If check to make sure the internet's working fine on your laptop. If it's not, I would Skype in from your phone because on your phone you're gonna get the added signal from like the cell tower. It's gonna use both, and it's probably gonna sound better than your iPad.
Okay.
I think it's interference from that giant ass rock.
You're fucking up satellite signals with your ring.
I don't know if you guys can see my really obnoxious engagement wine glass that my friend sent us, matching engagement wine glasses.
Matching. What does his look like? He doesn't have a ring, presumably.
He does have a ring. He doesn't have a
Oh.
rock on it. He just has a ring. But we both got engagement rings.
Joe,
So what is
Joe,
he
your
gonna do when he gets married?
Joe, your connection's a little funky too. I feel like it's been a couple
Yeah.
of
He'll
weeks
wear
now.
a wedding ring and get rid of the not get rid of, but he won't wear the engagement ring anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna try restarting, so it might take me a minute.
That's
so
fine.
I'll be
We're
right
working
back.
through Sophie's thing anyway. Go for it. Ping in the chat when you're back.
Man, I just sent Eric this text too about how we just upgraded and got way better internet, but
I know, dude. You got me all
here
excited.
we are. To be fair, this is my laptop is like 15 years old. I don't use it for anything except BGH because I do casts.
We
for my
almost had
podcast,
no,
not for my work computer
We almost had no show last week, so this is just more fun.
because of
How-
internet stuff.
My computer had so many dropouts I couldn't even cut it to like make it sound clean, so I had to use the backup from YouTube. Which reminds me, Casey, please run your backup this week.
Yep, I'm set up.
Although YouTube has improved its audio encoding because I downloaded that file. It took an hour to download it, but it was like I don't think if you had given me that back to back with a regular show, I don't think I could have picked out which one was from YouTube. So
that's what I was gonna ask. Like, how did it ultimately?
it sounded.
sound?
I don't think I couldn't notice, so I know no one else did. Like the last time I had to do it, it sounded compressed to me. Like whatever file they sent back to me, the audio was compressed. It did not sound that way this time. So they've upgraded something.
Yeah.
So that's good.
The web browser on my laptop is also not working, so I'm gonna call in from my phone.
We are off to a banging start tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you sound and look good now, but let's try the phone because, like I said, it's going to give you, it's basically got two avenues to pull signal from, so that should be the best option.
Okay, please hold.
So, yeah. Okay, now I'm going to pee before we start, just to be safe. You can never be too safe, John. with
We've
pee.
now gone long enough that you are gonna pee.
I have to pee now. It's been 90
I
seconds.
just peed, and now you're making me think I need to pee.
I've been trying to rehydrate. I've been a little dehydrated lately, so I've just been like mainlining water, and now I got to pee a lot.
I guess we're live right now, so I shouldn't. Like,
Yeah, we are.
Talk about inappropriate.
No,
okay.
please. Yeah.
Did you guys see they just announced Wonder Woman 2 is going to be on HBO on
You
Christmas?
mean Wonder Woman 84?
Yep.
Oh shit.
Pretty sweet.
Okay, Sophie, just now tell me what's going on. Just tell me a bunch of things so I can hear how your signal is.
Okay, so now you want to hear about what's on campus.
Yes.
No, I'm on my phone now, which means my video is going to be wonky. I don't know if that matters.
Your head is
Does it sound
sideways?
okay?
What if you
Your
turn
head
it the
is
other way?
sideways, but otherwise it looks fine. Okay. And scene.
Am I giving you guys with your like old coworkers?
Okay. Try
Worse than
this.
that, I would say.
Try turning. Do you have the option to just turn the video off? All right, now just talk.
Now,
Keep
how
talking.
do I sound now?
Keep talking.
This is so annoying now that I actually pay for internet.
Yeah.
Keep
That'll
talking.
get you.
Keep talking and don't stop. Tell me a story about fairies.
About fairies?
Anything. Just tell me a story.
Not a thing I'm gonna do. Do you still want me to talk or no?
Yes, I would like you to keep talking so I can
Okay.
judge your signal, please.
Jeremy proposed to me on Halloween. That was very cool. We went to a double feature of Halloween 1978, followed by Halloween 2018
Oh.
outside at our favorite indie movie theater. And then he took me to the art museum and proposed under the full moon. It was very nerdy and cool.
That's
Aw,
awesome. He's such a swell guy.
What a sweetie.
He's a good dude.
And-
Sorry, I've really lost my socializing skills during COVID, but that story's pretty rote.
And handsome to boot.
Can we go back to the like ring that he's wearing, and what was the process by like did you then have to go out and buy him the ring after he proposed? Like, did you know he was going to propose?
I already
You know?
had his ring. I mean, I didn't know he was going to propose on Halloween, John, but we've been dating for 7.5 years, so I've had his ring
Oh.
for a little while.
I mean, you could have given him the like shit or get off the pot speech 3 years ago in my
Shit or get off the
mind. But,
Oh
know.
yeah, just let's pretend I didn't. So.
Some guys like jewelry.
Yeah. No. Well, no. You answered my question. Okay, that's interesting. I
Yeah,
actually think it's not crazy for a guy to wear an engagement ring as well. I just don't understand the mechanics of like how it happens.
I didn't do that. That surprise. I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, like we picked out my ring together last January, and I had already picked a ring for Jeremy, but I like ran it by him to make sure that he didn't hate it because Jeremy, as I assume was the case for a lot of you guys, like has never worn jewelry and would never wear a ring for any other reason.
Same.
So
Yep. Correct.
we had that convo, and I've probably had his ring since like March.
Were you
Okay.
guys talking about all these rings gave me a panic attack because it dawned on me I hadn't seen mine for at least a month or two.
I haven't either, Casey, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
Hilarious backstory hilarious related story when Jeremy gave me the ring. He's like, I don't remember all the care instructions, but you're not supposed to wear it when you wash your hands or use hand sanitizer. And I'm like, oh, fucking great. It's not like I ever do that.
Yeah. That's pretty bad.
My entire knuckle on my ring finger is going to be scar tissue by the time COVID is over, but it's fine.
Wait, you take it off every time? That's no. Like I would just never wear it. That's
Sophie, you sound great to me. The signal sounds good. Why don't you try to turn your video on, but before you do, just get it stationary somewhere because I feel like it has more trouble catching up when it's moving around a lot.
Yep. It is sitting stationary on my desk.
So try to turn it back
I'm going
on.
to turn the video on.
If not, we'll just do audio and you'll just have to be really loud if you want to try to butt in.
I mean, I already took my pants off, so I guess
Power move.
we're doing
I
that.
like it.
I'm just kidding.
No, I think we're good. What I'll do is,
commitment.
do you have the chat open can you have like our chat window open anywhere else, Sophie?
Ooh, good question. I bet I can on my work computer.
Yeah, why don't you do that
That'll only
and
take a second.
just keep an eye on it because if like you're roboting out or something and I want you to turn your video off, I'll post it in that G chat that we use.
Cool.
All right, while she does that, I'm gonna go piddle John and then I'll be back.
Yes.
All right.
The old pedal.
The old piddle.
Great.
I assume I
John,
don't sound any better.
can you hear
My computer sounds like it's about to take off.
I think Sophia's talking is unclear. Joe, I could hear you fine. I just
Yeah.
said Sophie roboted
didn't
out
catch
hard.
No, now it's me.
This
Yeah.
is going great.
Yeah. You aren't great. You were not great that time.
How about now? Sound better or still like trash?
Nah, that was medium. Medium trash.
Oof, but based on your delay, I'm probably coming through really slow.
It's a little slow.
How would you be able to tell that, Joe?
Joe, you sounded great that time.
All right, good. My computer sounds like it's like about to explode.
Yeah.
I think I might be pushing this Mac to the limit.
You see the new Macs? They like don't even have a fan in them anymore.
Really?
Yeah, they're like apparently just, like the way the processor. I'm
Yeah,
not
they
like
got a whole new processor, don't they?
It
Yeah, they're
sounds
like
a 100% like something that's gonna blow up on people like in 3 months.
I mean, we'll see. I'm gonna wait 3 months before I buy one, but it sounds pretty sexy. The reviews are pretty good.
Yeah.
Mine does that sometimes, where it's like for no reason, just like airplane, takeoff situation.
Yeah. That's what mine's doing, and it's been shut down for like a few days. I don't know why it's like so angry. Don't think I have anything like fucking running in the background.
I read somewhere that if you get a bunch of like if the dust accumulation gets too high in it, which just like happens over time. It's
Are
not like
you
anything-
Are you hardwired?
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, that's weird. Did you check? What are you on, Windows or Mac?
I'm on a Mac.
I can't. There's a way to do it on a Mac, but I'd be curious to know like how much RAM is being used up. Like sometimes you can find like background processes that are like slowing everything down. That you
Yeah,
didn't
that's
see.
what I'm kind of thinking, but I don't know how to fucking do that on a Mac.
It's super easy. I can tell you really quick if you want. Let me see.
Yeah, I'd be curious because I think that's what's going on. I'm sure like it'll settle
Okay.
out. You know what? I gotta imagine like fucking updates or
Here it
downloading
is.
or something.
It's super easy. Open your applications folder.
Uh-huh.
Double click on utilities subfolder.
Applications, utilities. You said.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there's like an activity monitor is what you want.
Oh.
Monitor that activity.
And then there's
Activity mode.
Did you find it?
Yeah.
Okay, within there's a tab that says CPU, and that should tell you like your current RAM usage.
Click it again.
There it is. Oh, it's just opening.
No, harder.
I did this with somebody recently, and they had Dropbox running in the background. They didn't even know how it got there, and it was taking up like a half of their RAM.
It's still trying to open, so that tells me something isn't great.
I only ever get to take the time to check it out once we get on here with the webcam, so I'm always looking at myself. But I got a sweet gray stripe going. I think that's going to match up from down here.
You got more than
up here.
you got more than a stripe, bro.
Oh, I know, but there's like a distinct white stripe that I think is going to line up.
You got a
Pretty
dusting.
excited.
I
I'll
mean,
have racing stripes.
you got a great. Anytime you forget a Halloween costume, you could just do like crazy old hermit.
I've got a strong future as a mall Santa.
All right, so Sophie, you want to bring up tweet with BGH?
Yes.
Okay.
She's gonna do it slowly. Just
Can-
heads up.
I was gonna say, yeah, while you were gone, it sounds like I sound
Yep.
robot-y
All right,
again,
turn
or
your-
I'm delayed.
Turn your video off. See if that helps.
Okay, video is back to off. Does it sound better?
Yes, it
It
does
does.
immediately. So let's 60. I almost just said 69. That's not what I meant. Deep six the video. Is that what it is? Let's deep six the video. Is that a saying?
Yeah, pervy son of a bitch.
She just got
Made that
engaged,
up.
man.
You mean, did you say 86?
Yes, 86. Thank you.
86, there you go.
So Sophie, if you want to like jump in, you're just gonna have to be loud and aggressive, which I know you can handle.
Yeah, there's, like,
Just because
nothing
I can't
wrong
like
with it.
normally.
I am. Listen, it's been almost 2 weeks now that Trump hasn't conceded the presidency, so I've got all the aggro energy I need.
You
if
can
I'm
get
trying to
there.
get in there.
You can get there. Yeah, I get it. Because normally though, I can like see people's body language and see when they're trying to talk. I can't do that with you, so you just gotta jump in.
It'll be like early BGH days when I was trying to talk and I didn't know what any of you looked like, and you all could talk without seeing each other's faces. It'll be like that again.
And then you saw what we look like, and you're like, well, that was disappointing.
It looks like it's Skype that's doing it.
Uh
The
oh. Can't
call's
help you
coming
there,
from
bro.
inside the house.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, but that's fine. But is there anything else running that's big that you don't need or you can see?
No, it's literally. It says Skype is using up 80% of my CPU.
Holy shit! Yeah, that seems
Yes.
like a lot. But
That
it's so
sounds like
weird.
some
you didn't get a new
quality
computer
Microsoft
because like
programming
you
there.
never had problems before.
Let me check. Let me just see if like.
I have a weird question. Does it change if you turn off your virtual background?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because it's real time green screening you right now.
Yeah, that's a good call.
It's gonna go from 80 to 40. Just
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see.
I mean, even 40 would be too high, just to be clear.
Yeah.
I would check what it is on mine, but I don't dare mess with the whole process of what's happening on my computer. I cannot believe I moved this computer as many times as I have and still managed to hook this shit up the way that it works.
All right, let's turn that off. Come on, boys. Come on.
I also feel like we should just consider switching to Zoom at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know about the quality. We could try it because
It's as good or better.
what
mean,
I
use
run
it all day
into a
long
lot of
every day.
times, though, and I'd have to check, is sometimes these programs block themselves from being captured. Like that's why this works. That's what happened. I think it was Zoom we tried to use before, and I couldn't capture it.
No, it was Google. We tried to Google for like a hot second. Google Meets is a mess. We might just have to pay for a pro license, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, imagine if you pay for the license, they'll like capture it with no problem.
Well, I know you can
Okay.
record calls. Like
I
we
mean,
record calls at work sometimes. So.
Well, that's the built-in stuff. It's a matter if we can get it to XSplit for Eric and his fancy-dancy editing.
Well, XSplit's just for putting it to YouTube, right?
XSplit collects the sources and then records/broadcast them.
Yeah, it kind of records everything.
I just feel like we could look at other people are doing this so much more now. There's got to be other options for Zoom to YouTube.
Sophie, can you hear Sophie?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you're good, dude. Whatever you want. I'll just call on you and you go to town.
Okay. Also, just while you guys are talking about what you may or may not do for podcasting, I don't know how many participants you can have on a call at a time, but and you can't do video, like I will run video simultaneously, but I've had really good luck with Cast, and that records everyone locally on their own machine. So like, even if you have feedback between people, the audio that you record sounds good.
Yeah, there's no way I'm doing that. That sounds
I was gonna say
that
Eric
makes me want to kill myself, but thank you. Actually, so I just looked it up. You can get Zoom into XSplit. So I'd be willing to test it, but in order to properly test it, I need everybody on the call to it's got to be like properly stress tested before we try to go live.
My calendar is up to date, Eric.
So we'd either have to pick a week when we're not recording and get together anyway, or pick like an extra day for like a half an hour to run like a test stream, basically.
Wait, sorry. What the fuck is Skype Helper? That's what's taking up so much.
Let me look.
And is there a way just to force quit this stuff through?
I will run Skype all day,
activity
blah, blah,
mode?
blah. I'm looking up right now. Stand by.
I could have swore I signed on to my podcast and not work.
Hi, greetings. Skype Helper is for Skype update functions. It will keep running to optimize Skype resource consumption. To optimize Skype resource consumption, you should do a clean uninstall and reinstall the latest Skype on Mac using the below. So I don't care about that. Can I shut it down? 1 sec.
This is going. Yeah, because that's what's taking up so much.
Yeah, 1 sec. I'm trying to find the.
Schnars, you're a Nintendo fan. Have you played Mario Kart?
Well, Joe,
Tour on mobile yet?
Joe, just force.
No.
Can you force quit the process?
Very.
Can you do that in?
I play a lot of Mario Kart regular.
Joe, I'd just like to
It's
point
pretty
out right
impressive
now
for
that
a
if I
mobile
was
game.
asking these questions of you, you'd be making fun of me. I'm not going to do that.
My
No,
son would go crazy.
I can't hear you with these two fucking children.
Can you guys stop talking for a second? I'm looking up for you, Joe.
I don't know how to.
Okay, press 3 keys together. Option, Command, and Escape. Option, Command, Escape.
Option, Command. Jeez.
Then select the app in the Force Quit window and click Force Quit.
That did nothing. It didn't come up with a force quit window.
Oh,
Oh wait, there we go. Yeah, it just shows Skype.
what a bitch. Okay, there's a way to do this, but I'd have to send you a whole thing. It's like a tutorial, basically.
You could teach me, but you'd have to charge. All right. Let me just try restarting Skype and see if maybe because I've never had this problem before.
You did
I
a
don't know why today.
you did a full computer reboot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just try restarting Skype, and then we'll just start. You sound fine now. I hate not having you on video.
Yeah, I don't know why everything's so choppy.
I'm fine with it. Not him
Yeah.
not being on video. So
Yeah, he has got
Definitely try it without. Definitely try it with regular video. Definitely try it with regular video though, and not the virtual background. Maybe that'll make a difference.
Good times though.
Excuse me.
I'm ready to go. How's it going, Sophie?
Oh, it's going great. I was going to say that I just jumped on Slack and Laura totally backed me up that you can't do the hand sandy with the engagement ring or it'll fuck it up.
I saw that. My ring was like a $30 ring I got off Etsy. It's like a handmade whatever that stuff is, titanium or whatever.
Titanium, yeah.
Or is that what it is? Is that what the big thing was? All the rings were for like 10 years? Was it titanium?
People were super into that because it's like indestructible.
Yeah, except but then a nurse.
I had a math teacher in high school who like bragged about how her wedding ring was titanium and she bought it at an airport, so it was indestructible, and then she took it off and threw it across the room.
Well, so then
she was a weird lady.
A nurse friend of mine told me that if you get in an accident and your finger swells, there's no way to get those things off, and they have to cut your finger off.
Yeah.
No.
Because the normal things they would use to cut through like a gold or like a silver ring do not work on that stuff. You have to have
that's a real thing. That's why they started selling those silicone rings. That's how they built the market off of that.
You have to have like a special kind of device to cut through them, and most hospitals don't have it.
I don't know. Seems just like an excuse to like not let your finger get too fat, I guess.
Well, no, but like if you suffer some kind of trauma where your whole hand is...
John.
If you suffer some kind of trauma where your whole hand is swelling, you can't control that, John.
Yeah. My uncle had to get
John's
his
just
cut off.
out here hand shaming everybody.
Look.
So,
I
listen,
sit around my.
Listen,
house
John.
here
Some people have
and
sausage
eating
fingies.
the whole
Okay,
damn
what are you
ring.
gonna do about it?
Well, you get a bigger ring then. I mean, like you get the ring
Yeah.
appropriate size. Like that's the goal.
Ultimately, this is.
Oh
my,
yeah,
I've been
John
married
just
20
thinks his finger will never change sizes.
Mine's gotten smaller since I got the ring. I think.
This
I'm
is
getting-
like my third wedding
right.
ring.
I'm getting
so
bonier as I get older.
I've been through like 3 wedding rings. I wouldn't worry about holding on to it. Sophie's, yes. For the guys, no.
Guys, to be clear, I shouldn't like blow up my spot on now that we're live.
You
but
are
like
live,
this engagement ring is from Etsy and cost $100. I'm not about expensive jewelry. It's just not my jam.
$100.
Well, it looks.
Really?
That's
It looks nice because we all debated, literally all 5 of us, when Cece was on what the hell your fiance's job is.
PhD student.
Thanks for blowing
I
our
was gonna
spot
say,
up,
this is
Casey.
what-
Yeah, this is a lab-grown sapphire.
I
'cause
love
we
it.
were trying to be ethical and cheap.
Look at you. My guess was dead grandmother ring. I guess I was wrong.
My guess was he killed a bunch of grandmothers and then was able to.
And melded their rings together.
Blood diamond.
It's the original blood diamond.
Let's give Joe like 2 minutes and we'll start. It's getting late.
Show enough.
I got real lucky in the engagement and wedding ring department because Colleen's favorite stone is an emerald. So she's not that into diamonds.
Not expensive or
Not as expensive as diamonds.
oh well, okay, that's fair. I don't know.
It's all a scam, Casey.
We got Irish claddeds anyways, so they were pretty plain.
Oh, I love that.
What are they called? Cladas?
Cladders.
I'm not familiar.
You've seen it before. It'd be one of those things you're like, oh, that's what that is.
Okay.
It's the 2
ring
hands
that's
holding
like
the heart.
hand holding the heart, yeah, and the crown.
Yes.
We can try if you guys,
Uh,
if anybody's gonna be around, we could try a Zoom test like Monday.
I can.
mean, I'm around every day, so.
Same, dude.
Do you want me to create?
I just want everyone on, so I can properly like stress
I'm
it.
off on Monday, so yes, I'll be there Monday whenever you want.
Because I need to like stream it, and I mean, honestly, we could just throw it in Slack if people want to watch too. But like, I want everybody for like a half an hour, so I could just fire it up, run it. Because the problem I ran into when we tried to use Discord was like it was not reading this audio input the same way that Skype does. So like, I remember there being weird fucky things happening with my audio signal, which is the key to everything sounding right.
I hear you, bro.
Do you, John? I'm not sure you do.
I mean, I'm hearing you. Whether or not I'm processing what you're saying is a completely separate question.
You're not. I can tell. You don't
No,
feel very
I wasn't
present.
really trying either. So just heads up.
Why won't you be more present with me, John?
Fuck.
We talked about this in therapy.
Okay.
All right, we may need to just start here.
Okie doke.
All right, Sophie, I think it's you. Need to turn the volume down on your computer so that when I
Just
type
did
in
that.
chat, I don't hear the
Yep.
ping ping. Thank you. You like my shirt snores? It's from Silence of the Lambs.
Stand by. Yeah, pretty nice.
Wait, you don't keep the video up during the show?
Well, I have the little video up
Oh, weird.
because I'm like, I got a word of the day up.
I like looking
got
at all
the-
you beautiful bastards at the same time.
I got the website. I'm on my laptop.
I
Like,
have
don't
two monitors
full-
and another laptop during this show. John.
Yeah, I don't have that nonsense going. So
And one of my monitors is a 40-inch television that I have Skype on. It's
well, there you go.
beautiful.
Good for you, I guess.
Okay,
I
now
gave
Joe.
my office computer TV to my mother-in-law.
Now Joe's gone, so we're just gonna fucking jump in wild style here. Let me just let this record run for like a minute and make sure it's good. Can you guys hear this?
Beer guts.
Sounding dope.
So is Mark officially at the status of that voice actor guy that we hire every once in a while?
What's that?
I said, is Mark officially at
Oh.
the status of that voice actor guy we hire once in a while?
No. I think next time we might use a lady voice.
There you go.
Because I like Nate, but he's not super accessible.
I mean,
I
everybody's
remember
accessible
back in
these
the day
days.
we did that. What is that 5-spot or something like that, or Fiverr that was out there for a while? You
Fiverr.com,
could hire
yeah.
people
Yeah.
for that. We did that for that Hammer movies.
Yeah, and you guys got a
podcast.
pretty amazing like British lady voice too.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
I remember being pretty impressed with that at the time.
Oh shit! You guys should remind me to tell you later about, because you guys got that Tony Todd cameo. Remind me to tell you maybe off air about when my parents got me the worst cameo for my birthday by accident.
Oh, I'm very interested in this
Amazing.
story now.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
there's
know.
Joe. What's up, you sexy
Yeah,
bitch?
was it a joke? If it was a joke, that actually would be
It
amazing.
was not a joke cameo.
You look much.
It was an actual celebrity. No offense, Joe.
Well,
Yeah.
what? Joe? Joe?
And he's gone.
Hello?
looked good.
And he's gone.
He looked great for like 5 seconds. We can't hear you, Joe. Just so you know. You're muted. Actually, your reading is muted, so you might just have to unmute. What the fuck is happening? Can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. You sound and
Oh, you
look.
sound
so
That's
much better when you.
You sound and look great.
Great.
Maybe it was the virtual background, dude.
I switched to my work computer.
All right.
Different
Killing it.
computer.
Thank you.
That is also a good solution.
All right. Fuck it.
It does fix things.
We're crashing in here. Let's go. Everybody stand by me, please.
Welcome to Bloody Good Horror.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Bad Hair, a movie we are in no way qualified to talk about, and yet here we are. My name's Eric. I'll be your host. Joining me tonight, first up from Maryland, please welcome the business manager of BloodyGoodHorror.com, John Schnars, to the show.
I feel very qualified to talk about this movie. I don't know, I mean, let's get into it.
John, I said New York. I said Manhattan, New York City for so many years. It is so hard for me to remember where the fuck you live.
Dude, I don't even really consider myself living here. I describe myself, and maybe this is inappropriate, as a COVID refugee. Like I'm here because of the pandemic.
I get it,
like,
and also yes, it's inappropriate.
Manhattan. So
You're on your way
Just
to the
to
Midwest.
clarify,
I'm telling
John
you now.
is.
yes, clarify.
Just to clarify, John is allowed to talk about this movie because I assume that your hair currently is a weave, John. That's why it looks like that.
John's hair is currently undulating up and down like it's about to strike like a viper.
Let's just say I've had offers of people who want to weave my hair into theirs.
Next up, that voice you hear, it's been a long time since we've even needed a fill-in because of COVID and quarantine and all that. But here she is, back to the show. Please welcome Sophie.
Yeah, I know that everyone had at the very top of their list of things COVID ruined. It was not hearing my voice on this podcast. It's good to be back.
Welcome, Joe. Next up on the show from Chicago, Joe.
I feel like you introed me to
I
me,
did.
which I appreciate because I often am jealous of you guys for getting to enjoy me being introed to you, but I never actually get that. So this is what it feels like.
Joe, please welcome Joe to the show.
I'm turgid, as the kids say on TikTok.
I love it. Next up from Indiana, please welcome Casey.
Hello.
All right, Joe.
Mhm.
Joe, Chicago from Joe. Please bring us what we are drinking tonight.
Beer guts.
Bad hair. A movie about what would you would call it, a fake video channel in the early 90s. I assume that we're going here. I don't know if they actually give you a date, but yeah, just a fun little happy place to work where you see your videos and you dance with the kids and have a good time. In honor of that, I picked a beer from a brewery I don't think I've done in the past. This is Melvin Brewing. They're out in Missouri, Eureka, Missouri. Not to be confused with California, John. The beer I picked from them is the Pass the Beat. As you do in the music biz, John. I don't know if you're familiar with the dancing and the pop and locking and all that, but
Does John look like he's danced?
Beat. So this is a hazy IPA, which I've done a lot of in the past. This one comes in at 7.5% alcohol, though, which hey, that's good for this time of year because we're all just going into hibernation for real. And you're setting up your holiday tree, you're putting out the decorations, and Christ's sakes, you're just getting hammered, right? So Pass the Beat. It actually comes in, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this restaurant, Lazy Dog. I believe they started in Colorado, and now there's a few in the Midwest, mostly out east. So this beer, Pass the Beat, is a collaboration. They do like a beer club where every quarter they put out like an 8-pack of different beers or breweries that they collaborated with, and this is one of them that actually just came out. And I had it for the first time about a week ago, and I'm a big fan. A lot of sort of tropical notes in there, very creamy mouthfeel. John, I know that's what you look for in anything that goes in your mouth. Big fan. I've had a handful of Melvin's other beers, and they've all been very good. So I definitely recommend them. melvinbrewing.com is their website. And yeah, there you go.
All right, thank you for that, Joe. That is the beer recommendation, something you get every week here on the show. Joe, give me a Christmas update. How Christmas horny are you on a scale from 1 to 10 right now?
Oh, I'll send you guys a picture. Like, we've gone full blown outside.
I don't need
inside.
a picture of your Christmas horny.
No, you need to see my Christmas load, John, because it is all over the house right now. Fun fact, we actually had like a fun holiday activity planned next week. We rented out a theater to go see A Christmas Story.
Oh, that's awesome.
And because of this fun COVID, they are
dude.
shutting down the theaters again in our city. So they we just got a note last night that said, "Hey, your plans have been canceled."
Damn,
it-
bro.
So,
Like you're saying, even for because this was like a you took the whole theater situation.
yeah, like I don't know if you I think we talked about it last week on the show. Like AMC, all these are like you can pretty much rent out the theater for like $100
Yeah.
for like older movies. So we were gonna do that because I'm off all next week for Thanksgiving, and yeah, I got a note last night saying, "Fuck you, your plans are ruined."
Wow. I would think
Yeah.
they would just keep doing. Why stop? It's like you're taking the whole theater.
Well, we're going back into phase 3, and I think it's for like retail. You can't have more than like 25 people in a
Right,
building.
it might be a legal
so,
thing. Like if
yeah,
states are
so-
shutting everything down.
Yeah, the
Plus,
theaters are all
people like
shutting down.
Regal are really struggling.
Yeah. So John, they say it affects everyone, and it finally hit home for me, right?
Yeah,
Because I can't go see a movie in the theater by myself.
Yeah, dude, if after all this I can't go back to a place with leather seats, I quit life. The show's,
I mean,
the
Eric,
show's
what
over.
are your other qualifications? Because I think we could find you all kinds of places with leather seats
Yeah.
if that's
Yeah.
all you're looking
Like,
for.
you
We
can get
could-
those in your home.
I could buy you a leather seat.
You
and,
know what I
ship it to
mean,
you. Like not even
dickheads.
expensive one.
You guys know what I mean.
I mean, those aren't
Whatever.
real leather.
All right, guys.
It's also true.
It is time.
$700 seats, like.
Let's take a quick break so that we can discuss bad hair.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
And we're back. John,
Eric.
have you been having any problems with your hair lately?
I mean, you can see it.
Yeah.
So I thought you'd be able to answer that question for yourself.
Well, I just mean you're feeling strange, possessed, or like it's moving weird, or
No, I feel
Yeah.
like it's
well, that's good.
it's redefining.
You know
me as a
who-
person.
James Vanderbeek's hair in this movie was
Well-
aspirational.
I was actually really hoping to like carve out some time just to talk about James Vanderbeek because I feel like he's been mostly like stunt casting, at least in everything I've ever seen him in. And I actually thought he was like he's in this movie for 5 minutes, but
He's pretty
was,
good.
like,
Pretty good.
good.
Yeah, I thought so.
It was not a joke. Like it was, or if it was I mean, it was a joke sort of, but like it was well done.
I also really appreciated Jay Farrow's hair in this movie and Usher's hair.
Yes.
Look, don't get into the review. I completely agree with everything you just said. Let's save it.
All right, John. You and your hair, please bring
Mhm.
us the word of the day.
Eric, today's word, keratin, Keratin, a fibrous protein forming the main structural constituent of hair, feathers, hooves, claws, and horns.
Gross.
Mm,
I hate that.
these are a few
Keratin.
of my favorite things, John.
There you go.
Hooves.
It's funny because
Hooves.
it says hoops, like, but it's hooves, isn't it, with a V?
I don't know, but I
Hooves?
want you to
Yeah.
just keep saying it and trying to figure it out.
It's literally.
What?
I'm on the Google definition. It says hoofs, Hoofs, but like
Oh,
I
no,
thought it was.
hoofs. Oh,
hoofs.
no, John, you're gonna like this. The horny part of the foot of an undulated animal, especially a horse.
Oh my lord, that's
Mm.
different than a hoof.
Yeah, I
hooves?
I guess the hoof is maybe part of a hoof. was-
Lord.
Definition inside a definition.
Yeah, it's true. This comes to us from the Greek karat or keras, which means horn.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Oh, you know what? When you search hooves, it automatically defaults you to hoof
No shit.
definition.
So
Yeah.
I've been this whole time.
Hooves is the plural of hoof,
Hmm.
which again,
Yeah.
John,
Ooh.
the horny part of the foot.
Yes, but then what is Hoofs? That's not a real word. That's all right. Whatever. We're down a word hole now, but
Hoofs.
we should move
Hoofs.
forward.
You know, John, the horniest part of my foot, the pinky toe. Don't ask
This
me why.
This
Gross.
feels just like Friday nights back at Duke.
Poor Sophie.
Casey. Nice work,
Oh,
buddy.
God.
Come
First
on.
week back.
Yeah.
Nice
Come
work.
on, guys.
Sophie finally gets
Uh,
back, and within 10 minutes, we're talking about foot fucking.
John, John, why don't you tell me about bad hair?
Bad hair. So I mean, I actually have not had time to do a ton of research. So we get into the plot a little. I know Sophie had a little bit of background. So Bad Hair. This is on Hulu. I think it was a straight to Hulu. I don't know. I mean, nothing's getting a theatrical release right now. So, but it is a 2020 movie. It's a new film. Um, Justin Simeon is the director, and probably best known as the director of Dear White People. He was the directed the film, which became a Netflix show, and it stars, I mean, tons of folks that people would recognize. The main character is an actress whose name Elle Lorraine. She plays Anna. But you've got, Vanessa Williams in a pretty big role. Jay Farrow, who Eric you just mentioned. Lena Waithe, who I loved. I mean, she's not in this enough. Like, there's a lot of people who kind of pass through this movie in smaller roles. Usher.
Usher, baby, is what you.
Yeah. Laverne Cox, who I hadn't seen in anything except the Orange is the New Black. But yeah, so the basic plot here is you have Anna. Anna works at a so it's set in, I think, 1989 is the year, and it's definitely sort of like a period piece. It's not super heavy, but there's a lot of moments or elements that come up. She works at sort of like a proto MTV or like BET/MTV. It is a black culture network called Culture, where she's basically like a low end like administrative assistant, something to that effect. And she's struggling in her career a little bit. The network gets there through like some corporate shenanigans, some new, not ownership but management, and this is where James Vanderbeek comes in. He comes in as sort of like the head honcho, who's going to make some changes, but those changes are basically being spearheaded by Vanessa Williams, who kind of comes in to sort of take over the network. Eric, I'm very curious on your read on sort of like office politics here as someone who works in
oh god, I don't know. I mean, I've said this a lot before, but like it's so hard to judge because at this era, all I hear about this era of television is just cocaine, like all the time. Like, and I think it was it was a lot looser. It was a lot looser, like no concept of an HR department. Like, so I have heard of places that are like very competitive and cutthroat, like even amongst coworkers, but I've never personally worked at one. I've worked at pretty chill places.
Yeah. Well, so in any event, this is like, in some ways it is a workplace drama because it's all centered around Anna and her sort of like trying to climb the corporate ladder at this upstart network. But it's also a network that's very much centered around black culture and a big thing is to what you're talking about, like, and it feels like anybody who can get in and get their voice heard can get on air and become famous, and so that's what creates all of the tension and the drama in the movie. Really, is people trying to do that. People like trying to crawl over each other to get on air. Well, so all right, so that's like the main plot line. So it's funny, and we're gonna get into it, but like I would actually say that the like main tension is actually like within Anna herself, and like what the movie really is about, and like what the title of the film and the actual monster of the film is, this sort of question about like authentic black experience and culture, and like it's, I don't know. I mean, we're gonna be in like a probably out of our depth situation pretty quickly, but it's represented through Anna's decision to get a weave, which some of her colleagues at the network or at the at the place she's working are uncomfortable with because of sort of what it signifies in her desire to sort of like remove some of the blackness. I get, like, she wants straight hair, right? And we see that in like a very early scene in the film. It's like the sort of intro scene.
It's very suggested to her once Vanessa Williams, is that her name? Once she comes in, it's very suggested to her main character that if she sort of presents as whiter, then she'll go farther.
Yeah, well,
she expects all her girls to have flow.
Yeah,
and look, like Vanessa Williams is like a very specific choice for that role because she's like a very light-skinned black person,
and they call that out too. Like when one of the other people says it.
That's not a me judgment thing. That's like that's like a part of the film.
Sounds like it, John. To be honest.
No, and so like a lot of the tension in the movie is like, so Anna, she like is struggling. She doesn't have money, but she like spends all of her money to get this weave. but then it turns out that the weave might be like a demon weave or something. Like I mean, there's like a lot going on. There's actually like a lot of plot here. There is a slave narrative or slave lore. She has a book that's given to her by it's sort of, I think it's her uncle or like her adopted father, but and he's sort of an academic. He represents sort of one sort of spectrum, I feel like, of black culture, but he gives her this book of slave lore, and there's a story in it called I think it's called the Moss-Headed Girl or Mossy-Headed Girl, but that ends up becoming somewhat of the frame for her experience of getting this weave, and then what the weave is like sort of doing to her, and how it's taking on a life of its own. And so, I mean, that's the rest of the movie, right? Is like her wrestling with her own identity, and then this like weave becoming something that's like literally eating people around her as she excels or gets ahead in her career.
A little Grudge-esque if you're trying to picture at home, like with the hair.
Yes.
It's very unbelievable, John.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Good, sweet.
Hey, 90s, bro.
Good, sweet. Let's close up shop.
All right. Sophie, welcome back to BGH. What did you think about this movie?
I'm super excited to be back. I really, really enjoyed this movie. So I have, for some context, I have a client who is super into horror movies, and he had recently written me an email saying that he read about this movie and was super excited about it, but obviously doesn't have access to Hulu. And so he was very interested to hear my take on it when I got to watch it. So I was excited to have another reason to watch it and sort of think about it more closely. I'm a big fan of Justin Simeon's two prior works of his that I know, like John mentioned, are the film and show of Dear White People. Both of which I thought are just, he has a knack for layering a lot of really interesting concepts, and he has a really good eye for visual, I think. So I was a little bit nervous to see what he would do when he moved genre, since he hasn't done. I thought this was great, and I want to shout out, because John didn't mention my two favorite cameos in the movie, which were Nicole Byer, who plays one of her neighbors.
I thought that was her.
When we first meet. Yeah.
She looks so different, but I totally
People
recognized
might not
her
recognize
voice.
Nicole Byer because she doesn't have her wig on. She just has like her braids in.
Yeah.
I love
so
her
she's
so
great.
much.
Yeah, she's like one of my favorite humans of all time, so that was really exciting. And then I don't know if this was relevant or exciting to any of you because you're men and older than me, but Kelly Rowland played Sandra, and she is, OG Destiny's Child. So it was so good to see her just like doing her thing.
Let's not assume age and sex take away from my love of the child. I saw them on their farewell tour. All right, Sophie.
I do love I do love some Destiny's
Joe,
Child.
I appreciate that. My apologies. I was just sad that she didn't come up in John's intro, so I really should only
that's
say
fair.
to John.
That's fair. Look, there's a ton of cameos and
there's a lot.
Across the board. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. Yeah. So.
All right.
There are just a lot of great actors in this.
Joe.
So I was not a giant fan of this. I had heard a lot of positive feedback on the movie, and I was fairly excited. The wife and I watched it together because I thought she might be interested in it too. I think we both kind of had the same reaction, and John kind of mentioned it in the in his description. There's a lot of plot here, and it's an hour and 45, and I want to say like an hour, 50, 60 of that is plot. And the idea itself, I really enjoyed sort of the quote unquote horror aspects of it, right? Like when the weave starts to take over and does weavy murdery things. I really liked the way that was done, and I actually really enjoyed like sort of the dynamic that they set up with the music channel itself. But like outside of that, I just felt like there was just a ton of plot being thrown out, like all the way up until the end. And it probably could have been cut down to like a really interesting 20-minute segment of like an anthology or something. But I found it dragging in certain parts, unfortunately, and was a little bummed out towards the end.
John.
Yeah, I mean, I like this movie a lot.
I was about to say, where's your body, bro? You're just looking at the top of your forehead there.
I'm
was
sorry. No, I don't know. Like it is okay. So this movie, it's there are times when there is, it bites off a lot, um, but I think it's like very effectively written and directed. I guess for me, like I was won over pretty quickly because I felt like there was a very consistent vision of what he wanted to do here. So like he chooses to set this movie in a very specific time period that felt very cohesive and sort of well executed. And the tone of it is very, sort of on point, right? Like this is very much a message movie, right? Like he has like a very specific um, point of view or kind of thing he wants to get at here. And I don't know, it worked for me. I think we've seen a lot of movies. Like I was thinking about Antebellum, which we watched, which like
Dude, Casey and I were talking about that before the show. It's a great
Yeah.
example of like this is a film with a really nuanced take on this stuff, and it's like the antidote to Antebellum.
it's like this, like Antebellum, like I dislike it even more strongly than I did. Like I did whatever. I think I ended up being like kind of like in retrospect, I'm like, fuck that movie. Like this is like a brilliant, satire of
Yeah.
just like a ton of different things. Um, it's not a perfect film. But at the same time, like it is for a fairly low budget. I think what I saw was like less than 10 mil, which, that's actually not tiny in horror universe. But I love the effects. I loved sort of the like tone that it struck because it's pretty tongue in cheek for a lot of it, but it's still, and Joe sort of mentioned this, like the horror moments, like when it wants to go sort of hard on like sort of the kind of like practical gory effects, like it goes at them.
It does,
It's
yeah.
not like sort of over the top, sort of like blood geysers or anything, but the hair stuff is really cool. Like I thought it was really effectively done. So I don't know. It's a movie that's this is to me is like the perfect example of sort of like smart B movie in a lot of ways, like a modern smart B movie, because it's obviously that concept of B movie is kind of gone, but yeah.
Casey.
So, yeah, I echo John a lot. I liked this movie quite a bit, and I enjoyed it from beginning to end. I was pretty sucked in. I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny when it needed to be funny, and the stuff with the hair and everything was good. There's a lot of this movie that reminds me of it was 1993. John Carpenter, it was Carpenter came out with Body Bags, which was an anthology movie, and he was the host of it and stuff. There was a segment in there with Stacy Keach about a alien hair transplant thing or something, and the aliens took over, and you could see the results in my background here. This movie reminded me a lot of that, but not just because of the hair. There's a lot of good. I think this movie has a lot of good elements that comes from those, those 80s experts like Carpenter. I think he's got some good filmmaking elements, and I think he took a lot of influence in making this movie, and I think it shows up here. It feels like a fun B movie overall more than anything. And then like what we were talking about when Eric had mentioned too, the other thing I'm impressed with is the writing. This is definitely I would call it a black horror film, which is cool, but it's also cool because they are taking on topics that are particular to their culture, which I don't have a lot of exposure to. So seeing some of that exposure and learning about that and stuff, I thought was kind of cool too. I thought it was written really well to where it showcased some of that stuff and helped us see some of the culture problems that folks deal with that we're not familiar with.
Well, I mean, the Casey said it really well before the show. Like, I think what's really interesting about the writing is that where you look at Antebellum is like the entirety of Antebellum is like racism bad, which like yes, of course, but also like this movie is so much more nuanced, right? Like it's about a much more subtle kind of pervasive kind of racism, and then also the way that even affects like interaction between people of the same race, like in the way that those kind of it's sort of like if you can't beat them, join them kind of thing. And it's set, I think
there's no white people in this movie other than James Van Der Beek. He's in the movie
right.
for like 5
and
minutes.
I think it's set at a very specific point in time to sort of really bring that home. So yeah, I enjoyed this movie to a degree. Like I like the writing and the concept. I think like again, it's handling this stuff so much better than so many movies we've done like this. It's got a great, like, it looks like a 90s B movie. Like whatever effects they're doing with the grain and the color grading and stuff is really great. You know, and just the period piece outfits and the hair and the music, like it's awesome. Like they paid for a couple, like a lot of it's like sounds like kind of Muzak, but really good Muzak versions, and then I feel like there were like a few things thrown in there. I don't love it as a genre movie. It kind of falls flat for me as a genre movie. The tone is like, all of a sudden, an hour and 40 minutes into this movie, there's a scene with Vanessa. Why can I never remember her freaking last name?
Williams.
Vanessa
Yeah.
Williams.
Where like she starts cracking wise, and I'm like, wait, is this movie supposed to be funny? Because like it's not funny for the whole movie, and then suddenly she's yucking it up when they like confront each other about it. She's like, I don't know, there's no witch hair support group, like, and I'm like, oh, what the like, where did that come from? So I think like, because the rest of the movie is not funny if it's trying to be, but it's also not scary. I don't think it's particularly tense. I do think it's fun, and it kind of like the some of the death scenes are like fun in what I would describe as like a goofy B movie kind of a way, which is, hey man, that's cool and totally valid. But to me, the thing I think would have solved a lot of these problems that I think is a huge problem with this movie, it commits the cardinal sin. What is that, Joe? It's an hour and 50 minutes.
Oh, it's way too long.
I say this again. There is no movie on earth that is an hour and 50 minutes that should not be an hour and 30 minutes. It means you wrote a clean 3-act movie.
There's like a handful. Let's just be clear.
False.
Mm-mm.
There is
I will-
no
I'm gonna
good.
go back-
There is no
Not
good
at
hour
all.
and 50-minute movie, John. I challenge anyone to present me with one, and I will watch it and tell you exactly what scene should be cut the fuck out
I
of
feel
it.
like this would be like not difficult for us to find a
Do
movie
it.
where
Fucking bring it on, dude.
And it was an hour and 50 minutes.
But the
I'm
thing is,
sure.
John, you're not gonna.
Yeah, it's impossible.
I'm not-
And this movie,
I'm definitely too lazy. to
it
do
really
but
suffers from
yeah.
it because like
Makes sense.
I think that this movie felt like it's a smart thing. Like I think that it's trying to reach a wide audience, even potentially wider than maybe might totally like an audience like us, right? Like on the surface, we understand these issues. We can look at them. We can kind of take them in and be like, oh wow, like try to empathize or whatever. But it's not something we experienced, right? And so I think their calculation they're making is, how much context do we need for this cultural stuff for like your average viewer? And what I think they overplay it a little bit in the beginning. Like this movie goes 40 minutes with way too much exposition. Like there's nothing genre-y happening for 40 straight minutes. It's even longer before it really goes off. And like the third act is more fun because there's all the weird deaths and shit gets ramped up and it gets kind of silly in a fun way. But I think the pacing is way off, and I think the tone is a little weird for me.
So, all right. So, I actually, what you just said is, I think, fair insofar as, like, there's a level of like trusting the audience to sort of connect to the characters and like having a little bit more confidence in this the writer director Justin Simeon in his abilities to, you know, do that more efficiently. I do agree there's probably some stuff in that setup. I was fine with it, to be clear. Like I think this it is, you know, you sort of said it's a nuanced thing. He's trying to cover a lot of ground. Like he's commenting on like all kinds of shit. There's like the family situation, there's the stuff at work, there's like the female, like there's like the gender sort of gender kind of interactions. So some of that probably could have been trimmed back, and you could have trusted the audience to connect to these characters sort of more because look, like while this might not be an experience that we're like personally, you know, can relate to, like we're human beings. Like
Yeah,
you can all
well,
be in
exactly.
you can all like kind of get to a place pretty quickly. That's
No,
what, like
but-
what filmmaking is.
But there's a lot of cultural context around it required to fully kind of like get into it, and I think that's the kind of balancing act they're trying to play. Like how much of that do we need to get in? I feel like
did you all watch? I know I'm pretty sure Joe watched, but the Black Monday, like.
Oh yeah.
To me, this is because if they're not set in the exact same year, it's like close. I think this did a better job of like nailing the time period, but like that show did a lot of the same stuff where I felt like they kind of like overdid it at times. With it's like, all right, we get it. It's like the late '80s. Like move along. Like
I do. Yeah. I hate when movies do that. Like just pound you over the head with like the way that or like the time that they're set in. Like it's hey. can you hand me that Rubik's Cube?
Yeah.
We're in
Yeah.
the 80s now. It's actually why, and you're going to think I'm insane, but like I loved that 70s show because I thought like of anything I've seen, they've done it the best where it's just like they're there, the clothes are 70s, but like they're just not so over the top with it.
Yeah.
So
The no, I actually thought like so I thought the stuff around what it was like to try to be starting a network or running a network like this, and you know you see them producing some of the shows, you see, as Eric kind of mentioned, the squabble around getting on screen, who's on screen, like that's who has power, and yeah, and the power dynamics there. There was something else, Eric, that you hit on that I wanted to, oh, the idea of this as a comedy, right? Like I actually thought this was funnier than you were giving it credit for, but it's certainly not something that should be marketed as a
I mean,
horror
let me be
comedy.
clear. It's not that I'm saying it wasn't funny. It's that I had no inkling it was supposed to be a comedy until Vanessa Williams made that joke.
But see,
at
this
the
is
end of the
where,
movie.
and like I guess my pushback on that is like the Jay Farrow character. Like every time he's on screen is like sort of a joke. It might not be a like knee slapper joke, but
he's just playing a
I think,
character
like,
though. Like
his
he's not.
character was a joke. I don't think he was like funny.
he's doing a yeah, he's doing a bit. Like he's not doing jokes, but like that, it's like one long thing. I mean, you know, so I don't know. I mean, even James Vanderbeek, I think, is supposed to be sort of tongue-in-cheek funny to a certain extent, but you're right. Like he wasn't.
I'm with that face that Joe's making right now. So Team Joe.
I don't know. Like, but like, I mean, this was fun. I thought it was funnier than you're making it sound. Or like it was more clear to me that it
John.
was a comedy, but at the same time, like it's not like it is being marketed. Like it's on IMDb as a horror comedy. It's like that's a stretch.
It's all subjective, John. I think we can all agree it should not have been an hour and 50
I think
minutes.
satire might be a better word than like
Yeah.
It's
comedy,
yes.
right? Like
No,
James
yeah.
Vanderbeek is like a satire of like this type of person at a company. I don't know if he was like funny per se. Not
Yeah.
funny, haha, John.
No. I certainly was. It was not ha. I was like, oh wow, that's James Vanderbeek. He looks good. I thought he looked great. I don't know about you guys.
Joe,
but-
do you want to
Yeah.
talk about your lovely wife schooling you on weave facts?
Well, she didn't so much school me as like I just had a lot of question. Like one, because I know my wife has used hair extensions but has never had a weave. So like she explained to me what the difference is, and like apparently it's pretty spot on in this movie. The way that like they pretty much have to like do these tight knots on your head or like braids, and then like they sew the weave in. Like it
Listen,
seems like it's a goddamn nightmare.
this movie is very
so I've
this
got
movie
weave
is very
questions, too.
educational. Like
Yeah.
I was semi aware of what this process was. I did not fully know, and now I feel like I know, and it's.
I mean, I think the thing that they overdo, like not overdo, but like they actually, and this is like one of the more cringy moments of the movie. Like they actually go into her scalp, and like that obviously isn't something you see. But like
Okay.
Leslie was even telling me about like the weave pat that like we see like a few of the women doing. Like it's very spot on.
That's funny. 'cause
I
they,
do want to jump in. When
Go ahead,
Eric-
Sophie.
When you were talking about sorry, I can tell that I'm robot-y on mine, so I'm just gonna run with it. But I would push back on the idea that this he doesn't get later on, because I think that sequence she gets the weave is
Mm.
so hard to watch. I really feel like there are a lot.
Here's a
Sophie
question:
brings up some valid
if
points.
Sophie disagrees,
Stepford
if
Wives?
Sophie disagrees with me and no one can hear her, does it count?
What I got out of that was Eric and Joe, you're 100% accurate.
I think her point. No, I
I
think her.
don't-
I think her point. I
that
think her
is-
her point, from what I could gather, was that, and she's right. Like that weave scene is pretty horrific.
Scene is
Mm.
I don't know.
Like
I
it's
don't wanna
very
call
it's
this our finest show, but it's definitely up there.
it's very it's very aggressive. It's very uncomfortable to watch. I was also trying to eat food during that scene,
Mm.
and it was a lot.
Isn't the idea that like the scalp was being punched, like, because you're right, like obviously you don't bleed. I mean I don't know anything about getting weave, but like I can imagine you don't want to bleed during it. But the woman who's giving her
There's not many activities you want to bleed during, John.
the woman who's giving her the weave she knows it's a demon weave. Like she's trying to get the blood there. Like
she's 100% aware.
Demon
she's
weave.
giving her a little taste. She's giving the weave a little taste of the blood, you know. So
Yeah.
I think
That was my
intentional.
big question though, watching that movie. It's like, holy shit, do they actually sew that into the scalp? And I'm like, oh, you poor ladies, why do you do that?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes,
that's
I
a lot
Hear
better.
and see you.
So what I
Oh.
was trying to say was, I would hear me again.
No,
Turn
you're
off
good.
your video. Turn off
Go.
your video.
Oh, son of a bitch. What I was trying to say was, I absolutely disagree with Eric's idea that like the horror elements don't jump in until the last sequence, because I feel like this movie is slowly ratcheting tension up, and that sequence where she gets her weave is like a great, in my opinion, just like textbook super uncomfortable horror sequence. And
Oh,
for
definitely.
me, this movie reminded me a lot of the original Stepford Wives, and I wonder if that's like a better analogy as far as the pacing, because that's another movie that like starts out pretty fucking slow, and you don't really get a whole big explosion and reveal until the end, and up until then it's just sort of everyone being a little off.
So I totally agree, and not just because you're disagreeing with Eric, which I like, but
No, she's dead on. You're dead on about that scene. Like it's pretty horrifying.
I actually think Simeon, the director, like pulled, like he was trying. If anything, part of the satire is he was like using horror like music. There was like use of music that
Yeah.
was
My
sort of signaling to us that it was a horror movie.
So
even
you're
when
right.
It wasn't super horror.
You're dead
you
on
know?
right about that scene. My problem is that to me the plot takes too long to develop. Like there is a huge chunk between gets evil weave and what we know what the fuck is going on that I think is like 20 minutes too long. Which coincidentally, John, if you cut 20 minutes, do you know how long that would make the movie?
I can't do the
But
math
I
in
mean,
my head,
Eric,
but I
in
think
that 20 minutes, you're getting like the initial scenes, right, of like her weave sucking hair out of a paper cut on her finger, or like her
right.
weave sucking up all the blood off of her plate. I mean, it's not like nothing is happening.
Yeah.
It's setting the stage for what she's gonna realize is happening.
You guys
My
will
feeling
never
is, like,
sell me on
you-
this.
My feeling is like you could trim on the margin. Like you might get 5 minutes. Like you could tighten this up. I'm not saying it's like impossible, but 20 minutes there's a lot. He's covering, like what we said, he's covering a lot of ground. There's a lot of plot. There's a lot of sort of different things he's trying to accomplish here. And so I just feel like, at that point, maybe you have a different movie. And it's sort of, Casey mentioned, like, or maybe it was Joe. So I think, Joe, you said it was like, this could be a great 20-minute segment in an anthology. Like, sure, it could be, but like you would never get the depth that you get to in this movie at 20 minutes. It's just
Which
not realistic.
I would have been fine with. I think is
Well,
the point I'm making.
And what I'm saying is, like, I actually thought this movie, like, it's funny, like the main character in some ways is like it's not that I liked her the least, but they make her such a problematic character, right? Like, because which is the point of the movie, like she's making a decision that she knows is somewhat problematic, and it's leading to problematic outcomes. And so, it's sort of like wrestling with that choice she made. In some ways, she's like not the least interesting, but she's like a vessel for exploring all this shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like, yeah, like I think you could you make a like
There-
much narrower point, sure, but I don't know.
There was a weird scene where like so she runs into the original boss at some point. So the original boss got kind of booted, and she represents like kind of the soul of what this place was, right? And getting booted
like
out.
a more authentic.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
culture, yeah.
So she kind of comes back into the scene later on, and she meets with our main character at the point where our main character is just fully kind of like being brainwashed by the devil hair, for a lack of a better way to explain it. And like in that scene, this woman who came back, the old boss, fully is acting like she knows something about the devil hair. Like she's acting weird, but then like 2 scenes later, she meets her again. She's like, "Girl, it's just some hair." Like she doesn't. I feel like they're trying to have it both ways. They're trying to suggest like there's something more there. It just felt, I don't know. Felt
I
awkward.
took that more as just her commenting on the fact that this main character had actually gotten the weave, and
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I guess.
She's basically
And
accusing her
like
of selling out.
assimilated into a more white. I mean, I
Yeah.
think
She does this real
to what
awkward
John
shoulder
was
hair
saying-
brushing move.
Yeah.
Like she reaches out and brushes
to
her
what
hair.
John was saying, like this yes, if you made this a 20-minute in an anthology, like maybe you could condense some of the horror elements, but you would lose so much of the conversation about colorism, which, like, I'm with John, was probably for me one of the most striking ways I've seen that issue portrayed, especially like in a way that was supposed to be digestible and accessible to a mass media audience. And so, like, Eric, I didn't interpret that first scene with Edna at all to be that Edna like knew that her hair was evil in some way, but it was like, here's this woman, you know, Anna had been, in Edna's eyes, Anna had been her protege for all this time, and she expected her to like carry on this important work that she felt like she was doing. And so to see this person that you thought was going to like carry on your legacy has gone completely like assimilated into like white beauty standards was just, and therefore like hollowed out so much of what the channel was doing. Like it felt like her disappointment was coming from there, not like suspicion.
No, I get it. I just think maybe it was just the way the actress was leaning into it that like kind of threw it off for me. But you are totally right though that this does really do this in a more accessible way than I think I've ever seen it.
Yeah. The what I kind of liked, and again, this is, you could, I think people might have different experiences of this. Like this almost goes to that morality play place, like of you know, the not histrionics, but there is a moment. I mean, Eric, sort of what you were I think commenting on with the way that Edna character was, like there's some overacting. Like there's definitely like some of the responses or interactions are probably more exaggerated, because I do think it's trying, it is, I mean, it's satire, right? Like it's trying to like land points in that way. And so I don't know, it is nuanced, it's layered. Like if you're there for it, if you're like with it the whole way, it's fine. But I think if you kind of like come in and out of it, honestly it could be uneven.
I think my favorite part of this whole movie is the, like I mentioned earlier, the fake but amazingly good 90s R&B. Like I really wanted to go listen to some Belle Biv DeVoe after this or something.
I will be listening to that Sandra aka Kelly Rowland single. Like that was amazing.
No, it was all really good, and the music video recreation is really good. Like there was a lot of time and attention put into that stuff that it makes that part of the movie really fun. If you would all have like nostalgia for that era.
All of the like TV moments, because it was like that music video was great, but like anytime someone's watching TV, all of that other stuff is really well done.
The fact that Limp Bizkit and Kelly Rowland never did a collaboration is really Kelly Rowland. Like she comes in with hers, like could have really been like a good mashup.
That's good.
Oh my gosh. I wanna like, so I should specify that I think maybe part of why this movie worked so well for me, or why I enjoyed it so much. So I would perhaps recommend this if you're gonna watch this movie, although I don't think you need to go this in depth necessarily. But I, along with several of my coworkers, am reading Ibram Kendi's How to Be Anti-Racist. I literally read the chapter on colorism immediately before watching this movie. So I felt like there are so many like little moments that I probably wouldn't have caught, like as a white woman, they just would not have stuck out to me. But like, while we are briefly talking about Kelly Rowland's character, I just wanted to talk about, like, I feel like the very brief sort of story arc that we get for her is such a cool parallel to Anna's, because when we're introduced to her, right, like all these women at Culture are talking about how like she has contacts in to make her eyes look green so that they look more white, and like she has contouring to make her nose look smaller, and later we see her music video is moving to whatever the other channel is, R&B or whatever,
like
the like white
pop channel,
the like white pop channel. And like one of the saddest scenes for me in this movie
you
is
can just
when
say it, VH1.
Anna finally meets her at the salon and is like, it meant so much to me to see someone who looked like me on TV when I was a kid, because obviously like now Sandra looks nothing like what Anna looked like when she was younger. It's just like such a heartbreaking little story arc that
the youngins might forget, but legit there was a time like that's what VH1 was. Like if you watched VH1 in the 90s, it was like there was no rap, there was like no hip hop, like, and I never really thought about that until now. It's kind of fucked up, John.
Well, but even MTV like famously didn't play like black artists.
Well,
like,
but by
that
the
was a
90s they
thing.
did
Yeah.
though. But MTV was just like,
Well, they got there earlier because like young people are actually listening to the music, so you kind of like you couldn't fake it long enough, or you couldn't fake it
Right.
anymore with
Yeah.
with the like Poisons of the world or whatever the hell they were
Whoa,
playing.
whoa,
but
whoa, John.
Poison.
nothing against Poison. I'm just
Poison.
saying,
Now what about
was,
that-
like,
not
one of the
all that's
issues.
out there.
What about that song Poison though? That was really good. Was not that Belle Biv DeVoe?
That was Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit was great.
So,
Driving-
I lost
Um,
my virginity to that song.
ay, ay, ay. If I have to hear another
Of
Joe
course she
loses his
did.
virginity story,
Honestly, I legit like really love that song, and you kind of just hurt my feelings a little bit when you said that.
Well, just think about that.
Wait,
Think
now
about
you
me
got-
making love next time you hear that song.
It's so
I didn't
good.
lose my virginity to that song.
What song was it?
It was this is disgusting. It was System of a Down's first album, and it was just playing.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
God, Joe.
yeah.
That's
Oh my
horrifying,
Lord.
actually.
Of
Yeah,
course
yeah,
it
well,
was.
it wasn't the only thing that was horrifying.
Let's move along.
The whole album
Wait,
or
I
just
have a
one song? Like
question for you
how
guys, which is
Go,
Mhm.
like
please.
this movie did some weird and interesting things with camera, like camera angles and camera shots that I wonder. I feel like they were maybe right on the edge of being things that worked for folks or did how you all felt. I'm thinking in particular of most of these things worked for me, but not all of them, I guess. I really loved the shot of the camera coming out at the family room through the like round TV screen
I don't think I caught that.
Yeah.
early on, and like Anna goes to her aunt and uncle's house and they're all like sitting in the living room. The camera is shooting from inside the TV. I thought that was very cool, but there was a shot earlier on where it's doing this sort of like John Carpenter-esque, or more recently in It Follows, where the camera's just sort of panning in a circle when Anna meets with her boss for the first time, and I felt like I really wanted to like that shot, but it just felt like it was trying too hard to communicate something interesting.
I was like mostly fine with all of it, and maybe I was just like in a mood to be like, I need to fucking shut my brain off and like let this thing wash over me a little bit, because it's just there's a lot of stuff going on. But no, the TV screenshot I was a little confused about, because the framing was the circle, which I realized was like the concavity or convexness of the
It's
screen.
concavacity.
Stop it.
You almost repeated it. You dingus.
You son of a bitch. But like when the camera like passed into the room,
You
I
went
was
to
like, wait a second,
Duke.
was that the TV screen? And then they show the TV, and in any event, like that one, I was like, I probably thought too much about it. That one, I actually was fine with some of the ways. I felt like a lot of the camera choices in the personal interactions were meant to drive tension, like.
Mhm.
With that scene you're describing with Vanessa Williams, where it's like circling, there's this whole bit where her hair is changing sides and like moving around. That's like pretty light. Like you almost don't notice it, but then like they basically want you to notice it at the end because the character Anna's noticing it. So that stuff worked for me, but I would say he takes like a heavy hand intentionally, and that's sort of where like the B movie comment came from. Like there's a little bit of like showiness to the movie that I think is intentional, which I like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think none of the angles or shots really bothered me. I think the camera was on for an hour and 45 minutes, which I think was like my biggest gripe.
Yeah, I agree.
I wish they would have turned that off sooner.
Oh yeah.
Like-
I like your theory that the movie is just you turn the camera on, you shoot for an hour and 45 minutes, and then you're done.
We're gonna follow
Never
these
turn
actors
it off.
around
That's
while
it.
they act out this movie, and then we'll stop.
I love it. Anything else? Anything else you guys wanted to bring to the table here tonight?
What can someone? So
Oh boy.
God damn it, John.
among the cameos, if we had to talk about like Usher, I wasn't like 100% clear what his role was supposed to be. Like maybe like he was basically like Kelly Rowland's like side piece, or like,
Yeah.
That's kind of how I interpreted it. Yeah,
I think like assistant, or I don't think he was a manager.
like a
I
man.
think he was her boyfriend.
Yeah,
well, because he was
Oh.
in the video, so I assumed he was also.
I would call him like
Yeah.
a man lover. I think.
Yeah. Remember
Man lover.
Farnsworth Bentley, John? He
Farnsworth.
just he held the umbrella, and like he was in
Dude,
the videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
It-
Farnsworth Bentley.
The character's name was Jermaine D. I like
Mm.
that. So
Love it. All right, I'm shutting it down. Sophie, would you recommend this movie?
I would definitely recommend this movie.
Joe,
I'm gonna have to go no.
John,
yes.
Casey.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say like if you are looking for whatever the latest amazing scary genre movie is and are just wondering if this is it, I think that's probably a no. But like if you like movies that take on issues and do them in really interesting ways, then I think there's definitely something to get had. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. Kind of got to know what you're getting into, I think. All right, guys. That'll do it for Bad Hair. Let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
Dear Mom and Dad, I've been at sleepaway camp for almost 3 weeks, and I'm getting very scared.
Someone is watching you. Someone is waiting for you. Someone wants to scare you to death. Sleepaway camp. You won't be coming home. Rated R.
Hi, this is Daniel Roebuck from Everything You've Ever Seen on Television, and you're listening to Bloody Good Heart.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
And we're back. Guys, can we get a little round of applause here? Our very own Sophie is engaged.
Aw.
Yay.
That is true. It happened.
Yeah. How does it feel?
It feels great and weird. I mean, I guess it's nice to be getting engaged during COVID because there's like no rush to plan a wedding because people can't be outside. So
That's a good point. That's a good point.
It hasn't stopped my mom from like texting me incessantly about ideas she has.
Here's my
Here we
one
are.
piece of advice. Your shitty cousins, when you're like, I wonder if I should give them a +1, the answer is no, do not do it.
I don't have shitty cousins.
Oh, God, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
Cool. Sophie, Sophie, outside of BGH, you have a lot of stuff going on. You want to talk about a few of those things? Well, outside and
Yeah,
inside of
so-
BGH, let's say.
Yeah. So I should say the initial thing that is still BGH related is Tweet with BGH. And people who were following us regularly know that during the beginning of lockdown, we were going every week. And once it got to be summertime, we slowed down to every other week. And then the election happened and we just stopped doing it. So that was unintentional. So Tweet with BGH will be back this Saturday, which is, what day is that? The 21st, I think, probably. That sounds right.
Yep.
We're going to be covering Battle Royale because, you know, that's just the world that we're all living in now. And that should be fun. So we will start at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And you can follow the hashtag Tweet with BGH. You can also follow BGH New Class Live on Twitter. That's where we'll have updates. And once we finish Tweet with BGH on Saturday, we'll get the polls up to do 2 Tweet with BGHs in December.
Nice.
My non-BGH thing is that some folks who were at the meetup may or may not know my sister, who famously duetted Lizzo with me at the meetup in Chicago back when we were allowed to be around other people.
Who could ever
she and
forget your sister and that dude she was with that had the most fucking beautiful hair I've ever seen in my entire life?
It was real nice.
Oh my God.
We're mad at him right now, and it's really hard, but he's being a real piece of shit. So
Fuck
here
that
we
guy.
are.
Fuck that guy. His hair is amazing.
Way to bring it up, Eric. Hell
Well,
yeah.
listen.
Good
Throwing
job.
some real shade at I'm not going to say his name. He doesn't listen to this. Doesn't matter. But anyway,
Name names.
she, at that very meetup, met Eric, got super drunk, and promptly accosted Eric and screamed at him about how she wanted to start a podcast and what were his ideas. So she and I have a podcast now. We're almost a year into it. So if you want to listen to me and my sister, usually drunk, talking about horror films and trying to give it a feminist perspective in a very casual, brunchy way, you can find us. The podcast is called 28 Days Later, wherever you get your podcasts.
Easily my favorite podcast name, I have to say. It's pretty inspired.
Yeah, that was all her. I can't take any credit. It's
I
pretty
love it.
great.
I love it. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you for that, Sophie. 28 Days Later. Check it out. info@bloodygoodhorror.com would be the email address if we had email, Joe, but we sure don't. So what do we got on Twitter?
Oh, we got tweets. At BG Horror is our Twitter handles, and every week, just use the hashtag AskBGH. You want to send in a question or just talk to us. We got a few here. Jazzly P. I don't think we did this one last week. I think it came in after the show ended. How long now until a purge scenario for real? Or in Oregon, Mad Max. We talking weeks, months, or years? I don't know if you guys have heard, but Biden won. I think everything's fine now, right?
I couldn't tell you because I watched
Everything's gonna be fine.
I watched TV for that one day and then went back in my hole. So you guys tell me when it's over.
From the way I understand it, all our problems are solved. So we
Everything
did
is
it,
fine.
guys.
We did it.
We're
2020 is over.
This is a good one. At Alex Jones, Alex, ALLICKS.
That's good.
Who would
Solid.
win in a fight? 5 Brock Lesnar's with Wolverine claws or a private army hired by the Schnars family?
Dude, Brock Lesnar's Wolverine claws, nothing can beat that.
Yeah.
Because
That's
are we
not
saying
great.
that he also then has an adamantium skeleton?
like,
Because
his
at that point,
saying
abilities? Come on.
There's 5 of them, too.
at that point, he
so-
rules the whole world. I mean, there's no stopping. him.
Yeah.
Also, my assumption is that, no offense, John, but I assume that your family's private army is just like lots of kind of lanky white
Ooh.
dudes without a lot of fighting ability.
Yeah, and like, listen, if
Hold on.
you can,
Mm.
you
They gotta
can't.
meet
If
some
I learned,
people,
if I've
right?
learned anything from Game of Thrones too, it's that you can't trust a sellsword. Anybody who fights for money, John, they're just gonna run away at some point. So.
Oh. Spoiler
Brock
alert.
Lesnar is a
Yeah,
literal
that's it.
murder machine. Like, he lives to murder. It's all he wants to do. So,
Yeah.
like, really,
Yeah.
you're gonna fight against that?
No, look,
Yeah.
I was also going with the Brock Lesnar's here,
Yeah.
just to be clear. So
Yeah. Don't give too much away in the Game of Thrones, Eric. I might want to find out what happens to Gandalf eventually.
Gandalf. Fuck you,
All
John.
right. Our buddy Priscilla Toro. What is the worst
He and
thing?
Dumbledore get married. It's beautiful.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Yeah. Biden won. What is
Exactly.
the worst thing someone has said about your hair? I mean, I think John's been sexually harassed for like the last 6 months. So.
listen, I've a lot of heat on
Yeah.
a regular basis.
None of it's been
mostly
bad.
for my children. No. My daughter is, it's like she's 4 years old, so she just says whatever comes into her goddamn head, and she actually says more inappropriate stuff about anytime I let my facial hair grow beyond like, baby smooth. So
Mm.
here we are.
My daughter
Go on.
said. My
I
daughter
actually have a
says.
great story for this.
My daughter says really sweet things about my hair. She just says like I joke about not having any hair, and she's like, "No, Daddy, it's just short because you cut it." And I'm like, "Yes, that is true." She's so supportive,
So
John.
Sophie, what is this a story about your hair or my hair?
Yes.
Oh, all
my
right.
hair. So, I haven't already told this story on the show. I don't think I have because I don't know when it would have come up. But my hair is pretty short right now, but it hasn't always been. And when I was in college, it was like just past shoulder length. And I was lazy and went to a hippie school and didn't want to have to like style my hair. So often I would like shower before bed and braid it. So it was kind of like wavy during the day. And there was this guy that I was hooking up with my senior year of college, and I had like pretty wavy blonde hair, and I happened to have bangs at the time, and my glasses did not look dissimilar to Eric's glasses. And this dude I was sleeping with,
Oh God.
just like me and him and his friend are hanging out and smoking
Wait.
weed, and he turns to his friend and he's like, "Dude, she looks just like Garth from Wayne's World. She
Oof.
does, right?" And his friend is like,
That is
"No,
fucked
dude,
up.
no, she doesn't. Like, probably doesn't look like that because that's a dude like trying to help him
Yikes.
dig himself out of a hole. He's like, nope, she looks just like Garth from Wayne's World. We didn't
That's
hang
why-
out after that for some reason.
Yeah. Well, this is why you just don't want to smoke weed. In general, I think, right? Isn't it?
Oh, sure, that was the problem.
I didn't realize this was your second marriage you're about to get into, Sophie. All right. Erie, Arizona. What's your favorite hidden track on an album?
Oh, dude, Jagged Little Pill, the
Mhm.
final track.
Hey, God damn it.
It's just her
Oh, it's so
singing.
good.
The song is amazing. It's great. I can't remember what it's called, Sophie. Do you remember what it's called?
No.
I like on Midnight Vultures, the Beck album. I can't remember what it's called. It's something Deborah.
This is already the whitest answer ever, Joe.
Oh, whatever. Listen.
Whiter than
I'll
Jagged,
stand- I
whiter than
stand- I
Jagged
stand by
Little
that.
Pill.
Dude,
Come on.
isn't he a Scientologist?
Yeah, the music's good. It is what
Mm.
it is.
Oh, John. I would go with, I don't know if you guys ever listened to the Deftones, Around the Fur. They had a hidden track at the end. First of all, I used to listen to a ton, and I would fall asleep in my college room and then be woken up by this. I think it was called Daemon. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it was so good.
It's called Your House, Joe.
Mhm.
The track
Yeah.
on Jagged Little Pill.
All right.
Garrett just pulled that out of his brain. I didn't tell him.
Yeah, we both Googled it at the same time.
All right, I'll have to not check that out. Mike Snoonian, what's the worst Thanksgiving side dish, and which of your relatives are you most excited not to see this holiday season?
I'll tell you
Name
what I
names.
fucking hate.
If any of you say cranberry sauce, I'll murder you.
No, no,
I would like.
yeah, I'm
I would
going
like
to,
finish the
but
tweet before you guys jump
specific.
in.
Go ahead.
Name names. None of this. My third aunt on my mom's side, twice removed by marriage. Bullshit.
Now, everybody in my family's lazy, so my mom cooks everything and she's amazing. But sometimes, like, anybody who tries to make real cranberry sauce, it's fucking bad and nobody likes it. Like, either give me none of it or give me the can.
Mm.
I don't want your bullshit real cran. It sucks.
If you can't
no,
see the
no,
can
I disagree
rings,
with that.
there's literally no point.
Yeah, it
like I
sucks.
want it to still look like a can when it's on the plate.
Look, I agree. I like the can cranberry, but there are good versions of real cranberries that
False.
False.
look. You can
Bullshit.
disagree all you want. I'm just telling you what the reality.
Much
of the
like
situation
hour and 50-minute movies, it should not exist.
is. Yeah.
Mm. I'm with you on this one, John. I enjoy the homemade.
Yeah. No. I'm saying, like, I'm sure you can have a bad experience with it, but if it's done well, it can be quite nice.
It's
Um,
not hard
Well, if
either.
It's, done
It's
well,
super
it's
easy.
Like half as good as the
Yeah.
stuff in a can.
You just let it cook. Whatever.
Yeah,
in any
it's
event.
not. Leslie's the same way though. She prefers the can.
I like I said, I stand by. You have both, but they
Because
have
here's the thing, like, cranberry is a garbage fruit that isn't good. And so, like, the only reason why the can is good is because you've obscured it enough from the original thing.
Yeah, but the cranberry is also it's like a garnish. You put it on other things.
Yeah, so
It's
why
not-
are you
Yeah.
so why do
Yeah,
you
I
want
agree
that?
there.
Like,
I'm with you on this,
But the
John.
thing out of the can, the thing with the problem, the thing out of the can is that you can't when it's in the like gelatinous format. What are you like spreading it on your turkey?
no, you
Like,
fucking
come on.
slice that shit
No,
and you
cut
eat
in
it.
a slice
Like,
and
that's
you
it.
eat
You
by
slice
its
it.
Goddamn self.
You slice it like it's fucking dog food, John,
You
and
guys
you
sound
enjoy
like
it.
5-year-olds. Like this, when
Yeah.
I was like
No,
5.
here's
I
the
was
thing,
like,
John. What you really want to say right now is that we sound like poor people, but you're
No.
holding back from
What are you
saying
talking
it.
about? I like it. We had it every single year of my entire life, and I still will get it this
Sure
year,
you
even
did.
though my
Sure
wife
you
doesn't.
Sure you did.
Yeah,
So-
John, I mean, it's okay to say, like, we've worked hard to get to this point in our lives. all right?
You're right.
We're better than certain other people.
There we go.
But I mean, the obvious answer is green bean casserole. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
it's
just
garbage.
disgusting
Oh,
trash.
shit.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
the best
proud.
part.
That was gonna be mine too. I think you're right.
It's
Yeah.
it's
No.
fucking awful.
Cranberry sauce is mine. I don't care if it's fake or real. I'm not eating it.
Casey, no.
Yeah.
And-
Casey, you used to be my favorite.
I'll be honest. As far as like relatives, every single one of them, I'm glad I'm not seeing.
Not
Like
this is a joke.
Yeah.
I love any holiday where I can just get up, not put on pants, and just drink with like the family and just be left alone by anyone outside of the four of us.
I'm pro. I love Thanksgiving. It's like one of my favorite holidays, and I actually really like almost all the family. I will tell you who the one person that I am like kind of glad we're not going to see is my wife's grandmother.
Wow,
Ooh.
John.
Well,
Harsh.
she doesn't. Here's the thing. She thinks she doesn't like
She
drink.
doesn't listen anymore.
No, she doesn't think drink. She will make nasty remarks if anyone's drinking. Like she thinks like no
Lame.
one. She's basically like a teetotaler. She's like Donald Trump. She
Okay,
just
never
thinks
mind.
drinking
Screw
is
her,
bad.
John.
No, and so like everyone like tiptoes around her and is like, oh, don't like, what if grandma's like judging it? It's like, I like intentionally will just sit there and be like, like,
just stare down. I love it.
what, what are you gonna do?
John just whips it out and starts peeing.
But yeah, it's nice because we don't have to like do the whole fucking dance. Whatever, it is what it is.
Anybody else? Yeah, that's my thing. Like, I just don't like having to get like dressed at all. Like, I don't get dressed up, but like even just like an ironed shirt. Like,
your kids are like, remember that your dad wore his underwear at Thanksgiving?
Yeah. It's like when it's just your like immediate family. Like, you don't have to worry about stuff being ready on time. You don't have to worry about the house being clean. Like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a holiday if I have to fucking like prep this house for you.
One year, so like I said, my mom is always on Thanksgiving dinner for like our extended family, and like as she's gotten older, she's like, why can't anybody else ever host this? Like, and 100% she's right. One year, with no warning, so like I have a lot of cousins who are older than me, kind of like in between my mom and I's age. One year without warning, this dude brought his girlfriend and 4 of her adult children who we had never met before, with like a 2-hour warning to Thanksgiving.
Whoa, you can't do that.
No, that's
No, fucking no.
No,
I was livid.
Done.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Our buddy Skizbot. Do you remember your worst hangover? When I was 18, I woke up horribly hungover and realized I'd broken my ankle between leaving the party and going to bed. That was a fun day.
I have a story for this.
I woke up one morning in my fraternity's lodge. We didn't have a house. We had a lodge, and I woke up on the couch in the lodge covered in my own vomit, and all I remember is drinking 2 bottles of Southern Comfort the night before, and they like left me there. I had to walk back to campus.
Oof.
It depends what you define as hangover, because I've like had many wake up in a state of basically still drunkenness and disaster situations.
That was like I went to a housewarming party. This is probably like 7 or 8 years ago. So it was a full ass, like I was an adult. It was an adult housewarming party, but we were all kind of getting a little rowdy. And I drank like tequila all day. And then at some point it switched to like really expensive scotch or something. This was like a bad combination, but I got, it snuck up on me. I go to bed. I woke up in a panic because I had never woken up actually still drunk before from the night before. Like legitimately drunk and feeling like my body was going to purge something and I didn't know what it was. But I remember getting up and yelling to bring me food. I remember being like, bring me cereal. I don't know what to do. And like I ate it like a crazy person and laid back down and was just like moaning for like hours. And then it was the fucking worst day of my life, John. I can still feel like how I felt. I didn't know what to do. I was in a straight panic.
My adult life, I lived in Jersey and worked in Manhattan. So like the bus ride getting into the city on like a day where I had to actually go to work because those CD-ROMs weren't going to put themselves out. I remember I got on the bus and then I had to take the train downtown and I sat outside the train station for a good 20 minutes trying to build up the courage to not throw up in the train. Oof. And then I finally got to work, was doing my programming and like had to go and throw up in the bathroom, like in like our smallest office, and then go sit back down and finish up those CD-ROMs. It was
Oh no.
I definitely had a couple, like when I lived in the city, I had a couple late nights like here, all right, you got a 25-minute train ride and they're old. The ones in Boston are old rickety ass above the street, like it's basically a trolley car from like the 1800s.
The T
fucking brutal.
Are fucking garbage. Like you can walk faster than those things.
Brutal. It's uphill. Where we used to live too, it's uphill. So like half of it you're at like a 45-degree angle. So then it stops and you're just trying to hold on.
Yeah.
It's fucking awful.
I remember I took the T out to your place once and I remember just thinking like, should I just like get out and fucking walk? Like why is this thing crawling?
It takes forever, dude. Yeah. Because if it goes any faster, it's just going to tumble off the rails. Like, that's how bad it is.
I assume.
Guys, truly, you're not going to believe me, but I one time had a hangover so bad. It had to be in conjunction with the fact that I was on antibiotics. Like, I was going to a U.S. men's soccer game in Philly at the Eagles Stadium. And I was like, I'm not going to drink that much because I'm on antibiotics. And then I was in Philly tailgating. So, like, I got completely fucked up on my antibiotics. And, like, in the morning, have you guys ever heard of exploding head syndrome?
No.
That sounds amazing.
Okay, it is not. It's this weird medical phenomenon that doctors do not know why it happens. I've never heard of it only happening once. Like, it's a condition some people have where, like, you will just wake up from a dead sleep with the, like, sensory sensation that, like, a massive explosion has just happened right near
Yeah,
you.
it's a thing. There's a whole website for it. I'm looking at it right
Yeah,
now.
and that fucking happened to me. Like, I literally was, like, laying in bed, and all of a sudden, I heard and felt with my entire body what I can only imagine an explosion would sound like, and, like, literally screamed and fell out of bed.
Crazy,
And my
dude.
boyfriend was like, "What happened?" And I was like, "Fucking no."
Ugh.
Super hungover.
And then the worst part of that whole thing is you woke up in Philadelphia.
I was in Delaware, Joe.
Is that better?
Let's be honest, it's not much better.
Yeah. I wonder.
All right, it's getting late. Let's power through these. Hover female. Hi guys, I missed you. Been thinking about the.
I missed you too.
The pending winter o' darkness. We are all going to be spending a lot of time at home, so I was curious and wondering if you have any fun or weird hobbies, or any that you might start for that matter.
I mean, my winters consist mostly me staying at home anyway, so that part's not going to be that different.
Yeah.
I don't trust anybody who likes being outdoors in the winter. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
I'm planning to just play like a lot more video games, I think.
Yeah.
No, I've taken to the bread baking. I've really enjoyed it. I've got a sourdough right now upstairs, ready for baking tomorrow.
John, there's a weed dispensary a mile and a half down the road from me.
So you're also going to be playing video games?
Yeah.
All right, here's one from John's best buddy, CO_W Flanagan. What's your worst hair experience? Mine was when all my hair down there fell out on account of my STDs. Much love. And then there's just an animated gif of some sort of like highway to the meat zone. I don't know why it's there.
Oh man.
Classic.
Do we have to answer this one?
We already, we already asked.
Yeah,
we already
we
gave some hair related
shared our
answers.
hair things, and all right. Last but not least, on Twitter, and then we'll go through Instagram real quick. When will we get? Oh, sorry, this is from That Baseball Joe. When will we get a segment, Bloody Good Christmas, where Joe talks about a Christmas movie of the week?
Okay, it's on Slack. It's called Christmas All Year Round. It's a channel we made for the people with a Christmas fetish, so they wouldn't be infecting all the other channels.
It's a private channel now too, because I don't.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is. I locked it because like now we're getting in November. Like people are gonna start to get in the spirit and like, no, fuck you. Like,
Oh,
if you don't
wow.
love my holiday in July, you don't love me in November.
You're keeping this to just like a really pure. That's interesting, like a purity test kind of thing.
Oh my god.
Wow. By the way, Joe, I know it's late, but we got started like 20 minutes late, so
Well, yeah, and it was my fault too.
we're good.
I'm just saying. All right. If anyone's interested, I watched A Christmas Town on the Hallmark Channel this past week, and it is fucking bananas. Candace Cameron Bure adopts a child after knowing it for 3 days. All right, let's hop over to the Insta-tweets. We are on Instagram at Bloody Good Horror. If I can remember how to read these. First up, from our weekly listener who refuses to use the submission form. All right. I was schooled in sew-ins and full weaves at cosmetology school. Please, Joe, can I give you non-evil extensions and not polyester hair? Okay.
What do you think,
No.
Joe? I think John might be into it.
Yeah, maybe John.
I'd consider.
All right, and then our questions. What's your favorite Nicolas Cage movie and/or hairstyle?
Good question, dude.
Raising Arizona
City of
and
Angels.
Raising Arizona.
Yeah, I'm with Casey probably.
I'm gonna say Con Air, dude, and he's got the best.
I mean, Con Air is the
And
other. I
he's
think,
got the
obvious.
best
Yeah.
dumb hair in that movie too. It's awesome.
Mm.
That was his like brief '90s. I have long hair. I'm an action guy. Like it was that. Because no, he's got short hair in The Rock, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
the
think
hair
it's-
is short in the Rock, long in Con Air.
I think it's Con
Yeah.
Air.
Yeah.
Because
The
there's a lot of
Con Air
scenes in
hair
Con Air
is-
too where
is
it's just
up
like
there.
it's like flowing in the wind luxuriously a lot, which is pretty great.
The correct answer is Leaving Las Vegas. It's his best movie. All right, next up. Does Schnars have an OnlyFans account?
I wish.
So I was sent this question by a friend who follows Joe and the Bloody Good Horror Instagram. It's funny because I had no idea what OnlyFans was until literally this morning, and it was in like a business newsletter that I get because it's like a real hot investment property, I guess.
bet, yeah.
But it's like porn stars, right?
No, it's not.
I think it's like
there's many normal
That's the
people.
only
There are
reason
many.
I watch it is for the investment opportunities.
There are many.
My understanding, basically, the thing that I was reading said that all the money is coming, or all the big dollars are being generated by.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, right?
Yes.
John, the big question is, would you make me pay for it, or would I get comped?
I could probably get you in there.
All right, cool. Let me know. Thanks, dude.
Side note: I discovered this week that on my Sirius XM there's a Vivid channel.
Oh, please tell me what that is.
The weirdest goddamn thing to be like driving down the street listening to like some porn star jerk some guy off over the phone. Like,
wait,
stop it! It's not actually porn.
There's full-on phone sex that these people have. Yeah, It's the weirdest goddamn thing.
Why would you want to listen to that?
No, I don't think that's accurate.
It's 100% accurate, John, because I heard it 2 days ago.
Joe's like, I jerked off to it 3 days ago. Okay.
I can't wait for the moment where Joe proves this to John by calling John and playing it for him over the phone.
Yeah. Listen. Anywho, why has the B word been edited out of the Freddy's infamous one-liner on the show? My response was, the fact that you had to call it the B word is the reason why.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, if it's taking you this long to ask, then you're not a loyal listener. And so, sorry.
The B word.
It happened a long time. Like, I think it happened pre-COVID.
Yeah.
It's definitely COVID.
It's been a while.
Like a year.
Get with the
It
program.
was like
dude.
last year.
What's a good intro to Hallmark / Lifetime Christmas movies?
God.
I mean,
Holiday in Handcuffs.
Joe pandering as far as I'm concerned.
they're all exactly the same. So honestly, just turn on the Hallmark channel and you're there.
Joe, I really need to know how you feel about Holiday in Handcuffs.
Which one is that? Is that a Hallmark movie? The name sounds familiar.
It was ABC Family, I believe.
No, to be honest, I've not ventured
it's when
into it.
Melissa Joan Hart kidnaps Mario, what's his face?
Lopez?
Goddamn name. Yeah, she kidnaps Mario Lopez and makes him pretend to be her boyfriend.
Oh, that wasn't a joke.
No.
Of course, that's where Mario
real.
Lopez is these days. Of course.
I mean, it's
old. It came out like
2007, according to the inner tubes.
Don't leave me hanging.
Yeah. When did
No,
it come
I
out?
would watch that if you haven't seen it. Highly
Yeah,
recommend.
we'll look it up. Do I give the strange hitchhiker a lift or not?
No. I don't think so.
I
Too
was
late,
on-
probably.
Have we?
Maybe, I think.
It's not 1975.
Salt Lake City is the best or worst thing for the Real Housewives empire. John, does Suze have any opinions? Has she watched Salt Lake City?
She definitely watched the first episode. I think she was pro.
Yeah, it's mostly been pro. Real strong start. I'm very excited.
I only passed through the room and I was positive on the cleavage situation. I felt like it was there was a lot. Of,
you know what you sound right now? You sound right now like my dad watching Dancing with the Stars.
I mean, no, look, I'm sorry, Sophia, and this is not appropriate, but I said to my wife, I'm like, what is this show if that's not what it's about? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to take away.
One of the housewives in her intro, her family was driving around to Taco Bell, Wendy's, went on a tour of fast food places to feed themselves. So I was in. What's your favorite Thanksgiving horror movie?
Thanksgiving? Those was three
No, you know what?
options.
It's that one that Joe Bob did. What the fuck? Blood Rage?
Yeah, Blood
That
Rage.
movie is bananas weird.
Will I ever get good sleep? Also, parent-teacher conferences suck.
No and yes.
No, you won't. You wouldn't.
Can I make a recommendation though? No light. You want zero light in that fucking room.
Sound machine too. I'm very pro sound machine.
I like the sound machine. Joe, Suzanne just sent the 100 symbol, the 100 emoji.
Good. Yeah.
There you go.
What's the next after Freaky, the Parent Trap horror version? Any ideas on other remakes like that? What's the next after Freaky, Oh, the Freaky, that movie
The
where they
Freaky
like.
is- yeah,
yeah.
I'm really excited for this movie. I think
that's on our
the trailer
that's on our
looks
list,
great.
right?
Oh, it's good.
Well, I hope we can see it. It's like getting a theatrical release, but like, what the fuck does that
I
mean?
gotta imagine that's gonna change. Any ideas on other remakes like this?
Is there like a Parent Trap version?
Yeah, that's Well, that's what he called this, the Parent Trap horror version.
Okay.
I don't know. What did you think of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City premiere last week? We already talked about. Last but not least, Freddy versus Jason 2 or Trump versus Biden all over again.
What?
Freddy versus Jason 2. I can't live through that again.
Why would you even have to ask that?
Yeah. Well, my response was Freddy versus Jason. The first one, there was some debate over who won versus the Trump and Biden.
Right. I like it.
There was
Topical, Joe. Topical.
clear winner. And that's it on the Instagrams.
Wow. Thanks to everybody who wrote in. Do we know what we're doing next week?
What was the one we were going to do this week?
His house.
Yeah.
Did we not do that one? Okay. So we're doing that?
No, we're doing it.
Is that not what we just reviewed?
Do you remember the movie that we did this week? Or did you like blocked it?
Cool. I hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving, man. Stay safe. Don't do anything stupid. That's all I got to say. And don't eat.
No promises.
Don't eat that.
Wait,
bougie
aren't we
ass-
recording next week though? Because we.
Yeah, but it wouldn't come out till Friday.
Oh yeah, good call.
Don't eat that bougie ass cranberry sauce. It sucks, and it's a tool of the oppressors. So I don't think you want that.
Oh, Lord.
info@bloodygoodhorror.com is email address. Don't forget this show is streaming every week. You can check that out. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror, as well as get back episodes. Every back episode, John. Back to when John was just a sweet summer child with a nude face, short hair, just a Duke grad with a dream. You could hear all of that at patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
Your canned cranberry sauce. Do you put government cheese on that, or you just have it like as a side? Which one?
That's good. Nice work.
Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna engage with you right now, Joe.
Oh.
That's it, guys, for Bad Hair. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll talk to you next week.
See you.
Sophie, you go now.
Toodles.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.